Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the main event. Tonight, we have Dr. Karlyn Borisenko versus Adam Crigler. No doctor. What a shame. That's alright, we'll see how he does. Tonight on The Crigler Show. Hey everybody, how's it going?
Nice intro, Adam. I appreciated that.
I wanted to almost pull up a video of that song where let's get ready to rumble, and I just like bam bam bam. No, I wasn't gonna go that crazy, but all right. So welcome to the show, everybody. So obviously, because the title, this is going to be not a normal show. Normally, I have some segments that we talk about, but this is going to be fully devoted to critical race theory. All right. I know that I've spoken about this multiple times. Karlyn, you've been on my show. We've actually been chatting about all the insane things that have been going down because of critical race theory. Yeah, wrong song. I don't remember the song. Whatever. I can hear it in my head, but Anyway, so today we're going to be discussing whether or not critical race theory is anti-white. Now, before we get into it, I want to talk about the heat that you've been getting, because you've come out very strongly against the fact that it's anti-white, and you've been getting attacked by it. I've seen it. I've seen the stuff, the things
really badly.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how much people when they get their worldview challenged, they get triggered. I mean, it's a self-defense mechanism that is rooted in our instincts. People, it's very difficult for most people to have a grasp on that, because literally everyone has this problem. Until you learn to master that, until you recognize okay, this is like fight or flight. I'm getting that defense mechanism triggering. Why am I getting triggered? Oh, because these things that I know for a fact are being challenged can be difficult to face. Now, I personally believe that it is anti-white. I think that they have created white people as the boogeyman, as the bad guy in the situation. And you believe that it is just simply racist towards everyone, correct?
Yes, I do.
Yep. And now here's the dilemma, right? I agree with you, right? I agree. I do think that it is demeaning and towards, if they're claiming white people are superior, but then the minorities are less than, that is just a demeaning thing to hear for anybody.
Exactly.
If I was not a white man, which I am obviously a white man, whatever, I would be offended. I'd be like, well, I'm not less than anyone. And I don't, as a white person, a white man, I don't treat anyone as if they're lower than me, because that's just insulting. That's just not in my character.
Racist.
Exactly, that's racist. But then me saying that, I've seen this where if they say a white man like me says I'm not racist, and that's just, I don't think the way that they are claiming that I do, doesn't matter. I'm racist. I am inherently racist.
Well, first off, I want to say, and I do want to just back up and give a little bit of history to this in a
Sure,
second.
yeah.
But
I kind of went off on a tangent. Please go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I want to start off by saying, I think the first mistake you're making is accepting the premise of their arguments. I do not fundamentally believe that we have any obligation to accept the premise of their arguments. Listen, I've got a big old dictionary, like a print dictionary from the 1990s sitting on my floor that has the definition of racism. And
Can you get that?
Yeah.
Read it out for us. Let's see what the definition of racism
big
in 1990s. Classic. Look at that thing.
Dictionary.
Someone actually sent me one of those, an older Webster's dictionary from the past that's
one of my supporters,
they're going to start changing words. Orwellian.
One of my supporters sent me this a couple weeks ago, and shout out to Ken. I appreciate Ken. And because I talked about wanting a big old dictionary that I could look up old definitions in. Hang on, I'm trying to find racism.
Take your time. It's all good.
Yeah, but I think that, we don't like the first mistake I think people make in this subject is that we accept the premise of the arguments that we're making. We are under no obligation to accept the premise of the arguments that they're making. In fact, every single time we do accept the premise of the arguments that they're making, we
Mhm.
hand them a win. And I think, really high level, I think what people need to understand is there are a lot of people talking about critical race theory right now. There
Okay.
are a lot of people making a lot of money talking about critical race theory right now.
An $8 billion a year industry.
Yeah, and so like
$8 billion.
but I started looking into this stuff and trying to understand this stuff 2 years ago when like my knitting world got turned upside down by social justice and I wanted to
Right.
understand what it was, and I had started seeing it because I work in the HR space. I had started seeing it like really come into the big HR conferences and stuff like that, and I was trying to like understand it. So I've been doing this for 2 years. And I think what people need to understand for like really high level is that my motivation is not to be a pundit talking about critical race theory forever. My
Okay.
motivation is to defeat critical race theory. That is the goal. I want to be able to defeat critical race theory so I can go back and do my old job. Like I'm really good at my old job, but I
Yeah.
can't do it right now because I'm existing in this environment of insanity where it's infected everything. And
Yeah.
so that's my goal. Everything that I have worked towards for the past 2 years, and especially in the last year or so, is working towards this goal of doing whatever I can to defeat critical race theory. So, just to lay a baseline for anyone that might be confused about whether or not I support critical race theory or I oppose it, I absolutely oppose it. Anyone who
Yeah.
said I have supported it in any way is a liar and doesn't know what they're talking about.
Why would anyone say that? I mean, if they listen to anything you talk about, it's very obvious that you're very much against critical race theory.
Well, I think that's a very good question, and I think that's a question for all the people who have made videos of me with a clown face and talking about how I don't even know what critical race theory is when they have to look it up in the Encyclopedia Britannica. But okay, so the definition of hang on. I found race. I didn't okay, racism.
Okay.
Racism, according to this dictionary, is a doctrine or teaching without scientific support that claims to find racial differences in character, intelligence, etc., that asserts the superiority of one race over another or others, and that seeks to maintain the supposed purity of a race or races. And then the second definition is any program or practice of racial discrimination, segregation, etc., based on such beliefs. That's
Okay.
the definition I'm working with.
So on that definition though, right?
Yeah.
So in it it says choosing like saying that one race is superior than another, right?
Yes.
Does critical race theory not choose white people as that race?
Well,
Doesn't
yeah, but
doesn't it
that
say that that's
yes,
the ones that are the one, then they're like we have to acknowledge that like that is the problem. So
it
in that
does.
definition, right, it's saying that white people are the problem.
Yes, it's saying that white people are inherently superior or believe that they are superior or the norm to
Mhm.
every other race, but that doesn't make it anti-white. That makes it anti everyone else, right? And here's the thing is I'm
But
not
it's
going
making
to
them the bad guy though. That's really what where how I see it. I mean,
if you had to choose between being the most powerful person or being the weakest person, which would you choose?
but you're looking at it from just one direction though. You're saying that
No.
yeah, you're saying that it's saying that they're the superior race, right?
Mhm.
But from a different perspective, it could be seen as they're the problem. They're the reason we're here. It's their fault. The
Critical race.
blame is them. But you made a good point actually just a minute ago.
Mhm.
By me saying this, I'm giving justification to their arguments, right?
Yeah.
So I'm basically saying, well, I'm even acknowledging you. Where
Mhm.
instead I should be like, you're you're absolutely everything about what you're saying is wrong. Peace out. Get out of my face, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna paraphrase something that James Lindsay said at his critical race theory workshop in Tampa, Florida. And this is, by the way, something I have discussed with both James Lindsay and Chris Rufo, and
Okay.
they're on my side. But what James Lindsay said, and again, I'm paraphrasing this. This is not an
You
exact
just
quote.
had to slip that they're on your side. That's fine. They're not here right now.
That's all right. They're
All
the
right.
they're the big guns. We all know it. They're the kings.
Yeah, well, they're not here right now. It's you and me
Okay,
right now.
okay. But what James Lindsay said at his critical race theory workshop in Tampa is that while there are absolutely anti-white components to critical race theory, it's
Okay.
actually like the least interesting part of it. And if you're focusing on those components, you are missing a much bigger picture of what is going on with critical race theory or why critical race theory is dangerous. Now, let me ask you this, Adam. Do you say Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter?
I say both. I mean, when someone says Black Lives Matter, I said, of course they do. And
Yes.
then they're like, do you all lives matter? Of course they do. Like
Okay.
all lives matter. So it's like, I when you hear Black Lives Matter, it's like, well, yeah, of course, like duh. So
That's
I say
exactly
both.
right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So, if by that logic, then you would have to say critical race theory is racist. It's just racist
It
because
is racist.
white is included
I
in there.
agree. I agree
White
that
is
it's
included in
racist
that,
though.
black is included in that, Hispanic is included in that, Asian is included in that because critical
I
race theory is
never
racist against
disagreed with that
everyone.
side of it though. I
Well, then
agree. I
why is
know it is.
everyone so pissed that I'm saying critical race theory is racist instead of
Because
critical race theory is anti-white? Because
the
in my in
because
my
the
in my world,
Mhm.
that's just like saying all lives matter as opposed to just Black Lives Matter. Because yes, of course I believe that Black Lives matter, but I believe that they don't matter any more or less than anyone else. And every single time we put the anti-white aspects of this at the
Mhm.
forefront, and again, if you're focusing on the anti-white aspects, you are missing a much bigger and much broader picture
Not
that is
focusing
much
on it.
more troublesome. But
That's
when
not
you're
what I'm
focusing,
focusing on.
no, I don't think you are, but I'm trying to explain.
Mhm.
If you're putting all the emphasis on those attributes, you are fundamentally saying that every other way in which critical race theory is racist is of lesser importance. And I don't believe that's true. And in fact, I think that's a pretty racist perspective.
Okay. Well, I 100% agree with you that critical race theory is a division. It's terrible for
Mhm.
everybody, and it's pitting us all against each other. But when I mean, this is something you broke. You broke the Coca-Cola story
Yeah.
because someone came to you. They didn't say try to be less black, try to be less Hispanic. They said try to be less white.
Yeah.
So like, how do we do that? Like, how does that
And
not make I mean, I see what you're saying,
well,
but I think you're missing the point that I was making earlier. It's like we are the
mhm.
boogeyman. I'm the boogeyman to these people. Like people that aren't white that succumb to critical race theory look at me now and say that's the problem. It's this person.
Well, yeah.
White silence is both violence and also,
And you just
we're not
accepted their
we're not
premise.
we're not allowed to speak.
Well,
But
yeah,
this
I mean,
premise is
but
being
I also
taught in
think they
school.
I also think yeah, well, yes, well, it's not being taught in school in the way that you think though. Like I think you're missing my premise that it's
Mhm.
not as though there are no anti-white components to it. It's that those aren't even the most interesting things. And and Adam, you still haven't answered the question. If you have to choose
What?
between being the most powerful person or the
Okay.
least powerful person, which are you going to choose?
I mean, most people would pick the most powerful person, like,
Exactly.
right? I mean,
According to critical
people
race
want to be
theory,
powerful,
According
right?
to critical race theory, this is not my definition, this is their
Okay.
definition. According to critical race theory, white people are the most powerful people in all of society, and no one who is non white can succeed unless the white people get out of the way and deal with their inherent racism and let them succeed.
That's
I think
insane.
that's incredibly racist. I think it
That's
is
so racist.
incredibly racist
Absolutely.
to teach children, like young black 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old children,
Hmm.
that they cannot succeed in life unless white people allow them to. I think that's incredibly racist. And the fact
Yeah.
of the matter is that critical race theory actually loves white people who agree with it. They love white people. Who is the queen bee of critical race theory?
Robin DiAngelo,
Robin DiAngelo. What race is Robin DiAngelo?
white woman.
Very, very white. They love white people who agree with it.
She
Critical
said
race
some
theory.
crazy racist stuff too,
Oh
and
yeah,
I've heard her say the craziest things. Like, what?
they have made her a
It is insane.
multi-millionaire. They love her so much they have put millions of dollars in her pocket
Yeah.
because she agrees with the ideology. At the end of the day, critical race theory is actually anti anyone who disagrees with it the most.
Good
That's who
point.
it hates the most. And like,
Okay,
I
I
mean,
agree with
we
that.
can look at this article from like the Washington Post back in January. It talked about multiracial whiteness. Or the LA Times article last week
Larry Elder.
about Larry
Larry
Elder
Elder.
being a white supremacist.
The
And
blackface of white supremacy. It's like
yeah, And
Wow.
and I actually got into a little debate on your Twitter feed with someone who was saying, "Well, this is a clear example of it being anti-white." Well, no, I'm sorry. Telling a strong, powerful black man that he is a white supremacist because he doesn't act like like you think a black man should act, that's
Mhm.
incredibly racist, and that's not anti-white racism, that's anti-black racism. I'm sorry.
I mean, you kept saying to me though that I keep, adhering to or whatever, giving it credence, like saying,
Yeah.
if I say that these things, they're like, well, you're
So
giving into their
let
arguments.
me
Couldn't
give
you
you
be doing the same thing though, in the same sense?
No, I think I think people need the background to this that a lot of people weren't getting. And so we need to rewind a couple
Okay.
of months. Because I've talked about it on your show before. Like I was
Yeah.
working on the anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire. I was traveling around. I was doing a lot of offline work. Like people think that like all they see on Twitter is like all people are doing. No, like you do stuff in the real world too. And so I was going to all these meetings talking to people about critical race theory, making sure they understood critical race theory and all this stuff. And I was like, it was just like weeks and weeks and weeks of this. Now, an interesting thing happened. I want to say it was in May of this year, where I started hearing this language pop up that said critical race theory is anti-white, and I was hearing this in person. Now I normally I normally see trends online before I see them in person, but this was weird because I was going to these in-person meetings hearing critical race theory is anti-white, and like when I say it came on suddenly, it came on like that. I
Mhm.
don't know what happened or what memo went out exactly. I have an idea, which I'm going to explain, but like all of a sudden, this was all people wanted to talk about. And it was also when people were advancing this argument or asking these questions, they were also getting very, very angry and very, very agitated, much more than I had seen before. And again, it happened it seemed like it was like overnight to me, where it wasn't happening one day and then it was. And again, I've been studying this for a really long time, and I had not seen that language used in that extent. Now, I pay very close attention to language just as like I think it's just a form of habit because when I was working in organizations more as an organizational psychologist, like I had to pay attention to language to be able to help them. So just naturally, when I'm in these conversations, I'm like, oh, people are saying that more. That's interesting. What's going on there? So I started
I
noticing
don't think it was such a quick snap.
it really was though. Like, and
But
again, like I
Carlin,
was out there a
imagine if
lot.
you will, you're just going about your day, you're hearing about this critical race theory things, right? And you're looking at different things. You're hearing Coke is saying be less white. You're seeing that
Yeah. Well,
ridiculous.
I got to tell you,
Almost everything I see, you're being taught that you're the bad guy. Most
well,
average white people,
no.
because they're the ones who are getting angry and saying it's anti-white. Well, can I just speak? You're just saying no. You don't even
You
know
can
where
go.
I'm getting going with.
But okay, you can go.
No, it's
And then I'm going to explain. You can speak, go.
it's funny. It's so these people are hearing it over and over again that all white people are racist,
Yeah.
white supremacy, this and this. And to
Mhm.
my point earlier, it's like they're being treated like the boogeymans. They're being treated like they're doing something wrong when they're not, right? And
Yeah.
like you said, it's like, okay, well, you're basically giving their argument. If you believe their argument, like the things that they're saying are true, that's why people are getting upset. But it's they're teaching these things as if they're true, and saying if you don't agree with it, then you are definitely the problem.
Right, but
So
I'm
they're
talking
being
about
vilified.
yeah, but I'm going to stand by my assessment, which is this language was not being used in the discussion, and then almost overnight it started to be used and started showing up not just on Twitter, not
Mhm.
just online, in the real world. And so that was significant for me when I started noticing this and I started noticing a pattern of that. So where was I? Sorry, I've had 3 hours of sleep. So I
You
was
were
doing
it's
all these
May.
I had noticed that this was starting to pop up, and I was paying attention to it. And
Okay.
so then at some point, so I had I was starting to get really frustrated by this language because when I would go to speak to people in person, I would try to explain, well, yeah, there are these components, but there are also all these anti-black components. Ultimately, critical race theory is not even about race, it's about power. That's a whole kind of other tangent. Like I'm in this stuff all the time and I think about it so much that oftentimes like I'm I understand that I'm way ahead in my knowledge of it than a lot of the people that I'm talking to. That's a function of spending 12 to 16 hours a day, almost every day for the past 2 years, trying to understand this. So I was trying to explain to these people, like, it's, might have these components, but it's not just that. And I got to tell you, too, I do think that the Coke Be Less White story had a lot to do with this. And I have had, I mean, to be really human for a minute, I have had a lot of guilt about that, and a lot of guilt that I was the person that put that out there. And I'm going to explain why in a second, because what I discovered when I was, kind of trying to figure out where this anti-white language was coming from is I accidentally kicked the hornet's nest of actual white identitarians. I'm not talking fake white supremacists. I am talking some of the darkest, coldest, meanest people that you've ever met in your life. And
Okay.
that started happening when I started kind of just I was not aware of what I was doing when I was putting like some of the stuff, like saying, I don't believe that critical race theory is anti-white for reason X, Y, B, and Z. I actually kicked this hornet's nest, and I had a big group of them, of thousands of them, come at me and started attacking me. Now, there were I've gotten heat from a lot of people. There are several different groups I've gotten heat from. I've gotten heat from the actual white identitarians. And again, I'm not saying I'm not using this as like an SJW. I'm not just throwing this term out there. What I mean by white identity, yes, I'm absolutely, and I can provide proof of this. These are people who want a white ethno state. These are people who came on. A lot of them exist.
Okay.
A lot of them.
Where's that proof? How do you know what's a lot? What are you talking about? I have
clips on my channel, and I was attacked by at least 4,000 of them. That was
4,000. How do you know it's 4,000?
Because I was keeping track
of each individual person that was
I was trying, and we can add in that they probably had some multiple accounts and doing all this stuff, fine, whatever. But there
Karlyn, you have to recognize though that this anti Can
I finish where I'm going with this?
Sure.
Because there is actually a point to this.
Okay, I'd like to hear it.
So what happened when I kicked this hornet's nest and this big horde of them came after me? And again, there are clips on my channel. People can go back and watch this. Is that I started to kind of go down the rabbit hole and investigate. And I have found like more than a little bit of evidence that this is language that is specifically being pushed from this community, and it's not they've been doing it for a really long time, and that's because
do you think they work at Coca-Cola?
That's a different thing.
Okay.
These two things can be true at once. Two things can be true at once. And the fact the fact of the matter is
I'm gonna remember you said that exact thing, because that is my entire point.
Well, and if you're saying critical race theory is racist, that includes white people. That includes white people, unless you are buying into the definition that the SJW
white people that are racist. I mean, if they're saying all people are racist,
what happened?
Go on, finish it.
Is I came across enough evidence, and I worked with journalists on this to ascertain that this is language that that these people, these really, really bad, evil people, have been trying to insert into this entire discussion. I've actually got them on video admitting it, Adam. I have them on video admitting it. The language came from us. We've been pushing it. And
who's
so
us? From them. You're quoting them.
The actual people that want the white ethno state. And so like when people are using this language, what they don't understand is that it is coming from a really, really, really dark place of people.
100% of it though. 100%. All of this. I'm
going to finish this story, please, because I'm going to tell you exactly how it inserted and got into the mainstream.
Okay.
So it came from them. They've been trying to get people to pick it up, and then guess what happened?
Some of it came from them.
Then guess what happened?
Go on.
Alt-right, conservative, I'm not okay. Those are two different groups. Alt-right influencers and conservative influencers started using the anti-white language. It came from that.
When?
This was in May or June.
This year.
This year.
No, this started in 2012. This started in 2012, 2013, when the Smith-Mundt Act was enacted with the NDAA.
What I'm talking about is
propaganda American citizens.
Fine, Adam, but what I am talking about, you and I are talking about two different things.
No, I'm not. Yes, I'm talking about racism spiking in conversations on the internet.
I'm not talking about that.
all of this stuff started then, and it got
I'm
worse
not
and worse
talking
and
about that.
snowballed into where we're at now.
Yes, but I'm
It
not
didn't
talking
start
about
this
that,
year.
Adam. I'm not suggesting that talk about racism started this year. I am suggesting that the
Okay.
amount of people who were using this anti-white language substantially increased, and not just online, but in
Okay.
person. And that was where it was those were the people who were trying to push this language. And they succeeded. They were successful. They got exactly what they wanted. And the fact of the matter is that I think, to cut to the chase, I think it is grossly irresponsible of people to use this language. Number one, because they're pushing the agenda of really, 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 really bad people. People
So
that
is
you do
Robin
not want to be aligned
DiAngelo
with.
a white supremacist?
Of course she is.
A
But not
neo
this,
whatever this
people.
group?
But not the same as these people. These are
But
two
is
different
it?
things.
Are
This is
you
like
saying that
forestry theory.
100% of it is coming from them, or they just nudged it? They pushed the
They
ball. Give me your
nudged it.
percentage. What are you saying?
I have no idea what percent, Adam, but I can tell you
I mean,
that
you seem
they
awfully
have
confident
very.
that they're the
I
reason.
am
They're like
100% confident.
the
Yes.
cabal of the white
I am
anti-white.
100% confident. I have mountains of evidence. I have
Okay.
tried to get journalists to write about it, and all of them are too effing scared because
Hmm.
these are dangerous people. These are dangerous, bad people.
Okay.
They're not people you want to be aligned with. But then it got pushed into the mainstream by flipping conservative influencers, and then everyone started using it. And
I
there are
have an
several
article
reasons.
from
Hang
2017.
on. I really need to finish this point without being
Please do.
interrupted. Because the point that I'm making, to go back to where I started at the beginning, my
Hmm.
goal is actually to defeat critical race theory. My goal is
Sure.
to actually put an end to this problem. It is not to perpetuate it in perpetuity. It is not to make money being a pundit. Every single time people use this language, not only are they using language that came from a really bad place of people who actually have an agenda that aligns with critical race theory, they are also undercutting the good work of people who are actually out there fighting this to win. They're undercutting James Lindsay. They're undercutting Chris Rufo. They're undercutting me. I basically I've stopped for months because of this stuff, because I
Okay.
can't do it. It put me way, 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 way too in danger. Like, I cannot do it in the way that I was before. But it wasn't just me. It was undermining Jody Shaw. It was undermining Aaron Kinesfatter. It was undermining every single whistleblower who has put themselves out there, because this is exactly what the left wants you to do. And this is why I get frustrated about this, because, like, I I have sacrificed so much to fight this fight and to try to defeat this thing. There are so many people out there that have sacrificed so much. There are people that come forward every single day
Okay.
sacrificing to be able to be in this fight. And
I know, but
every
where
single time
where
you guys
what
screw
is the
around
point
with
of this though?
every single time our goal is to win. I don't
Right.
know what the goal of the people is who are saying anti-white,
I know,
anti-white,
but you
anti-white,
said that you were bringing it up
because
for.
I did. Every
Hmm.
single time people use this language, they are handing the left a win. They are making it harder for us to actually win. And I know that this is true because when they started going after me, they also started going after James Lindsay, and they also started going after Chris Rufo. And they started going after Chris Rufo because
Who's
he is
they?
not
Who are you talking about now?
okay, so there's several different groups. There were two that were primarily doing it. They were the actual white identitarians, and they were the groypers. Now, the
Hmm.
groypers act like white identitarians, but they're not. They're kids that are trolling and screwing around. But they were going after Chris Rufo because he's not married to a white lady. They were flat
Okay.
going after him because of
Hmm.
that. So they weren't just coming after me. They were coming after a lot of people. My bigger thing again is that every single time this language comes up, it
Hmm.
hurts the fight against critical race theory. It doesn't help it. It hands the left exactly what they want, because they want to be able to say, look at all these people. All they care about is the anti-white aspects of it. That's all they care about. See, we told you that they were racist. Every single time, it makes my job harder, makes Chris Rufo's job harder, makes James Lindsay's job harder. And it's like, I don't think people understand how much goes into fighting this, and how it's infuriating to me that people can't be responsible with this. They are
Okay.
losing nothing by saying critical race theory is racist. In fact, you come out looking like the good guys. You come out looking like the ones that actually care about stopping racism. I did not get into this just to fight racism against white people. I don't think any form of racism is good, whether it be against white, black, brown, whatever.
I mean,
I'm
I
not
agree
going
with
to
that.
fight this fight
Hey,
about just
Karlyn,
like
Karlyn,
making the
take a
white
breath.
people feel
Take a breath,
good.
please. Take a breath.
Jeez.
Take a breath. Look, I know I've already know all this, right? I know that you've been attacked. But you saying that
It's
now
not about
suddenly.
the attacks. It's
Hold
about
on, hold
winning
on.
the
No, no,
fight.
no. You spoke.
Like,
It's my turn now. You need to let
but
me
don't
speak a little
mischaracterize
bit,
what I
please.
said.
Oh my goodness. You said that you started getting attacked and all this stuff suddenly came this year. I mean,
And then I did a long diatribe about how it's about winning the broader fight.
I get that part of it though, and I'm equally against critical race theory because it's racist towards everyone, but there is an underlying thing that isn't new. It's not new. I mean, I have an article right here from
The language
2017.
in the scale that it was being used and
I'm
how it
sorry.
was being used
I
was
have to show you
new.
this article. I mean, it's
Fine. Just because you
how
can
is
find an article that says anti-white, Adam, it doesn't mean anything to
it's
me,
not
to be honest.
anti-white.
That
Court
doesn't say
declares
it.
F white people is neither racist nor a hate speech. I mean, this was normalized. This was a normal thing. Basically, when Trump became president, because they needed to make add to the
Okay. That
white
doesn't
people are
dispute
bad
anything I've
narrative.
said. That doesn't dispute anything I've said.
Neither does it dispute anything that I've said though, and that's where we're
You're right.
I get it.
You're
It
you're
is
absolutely right.
racist.
People can use the anti-white language if you want. I happen to
Mhm.
think it is grossly irresponsible to do so. And
Think
because I was attacked by
right.
white
It's
supremacy,
your
like
opinion.
actual, yes, it is an opinion, and I'm allowed to
Thank
hold an
you.
opinion.
Right.
I am allowed to hold the
Thank you.
opinion that if adults actually care about winning,
Mhm.
then they should behave like responsible adults and not hand the enemy win after win after win after win.
No, I'm not giving them a win. Me talking about this stuff, me saying, "Hey, it's anti-white because of this, 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 and this." So that part of it is wrong. And also, it's
Okay.
anti-black. It's demeaning towards these minorities because of this, 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 and this. I
Why
talk
do,
about that stuff just as equally as I talk about this stuff.
why do you lose anything by saying it's just racist?
It is racist.
Yeah, so why can't you just say it's racist? Look, this article about F white people, that's racist.
It's making
Why can't
white
we
people
why
pissed off because it's making them the bad. It's their fault.
well,
It's
why aren't those same
they're
white
the reason.
people why aren't
Just
those
hold on. They're the people that are being blamed for all of this.
so
It's
what?
my fault because I'm white because of all this stuff. So
So
people are being
what?
pissed off.
Young black children are being raised to believe that they can't do anything in the world because they're
And that it's
black.
my fault. So when they see me, I'm the reason that if they are to
I'm
succumb to this.
sorry. I am not going to prioritize any hurt feelings that you have as being labeled the all-powerful white man over the fact that 8-year-old black kids are being taught that they can't be successful in the world in a
It's
time
teaching
when they
them
have
to hate. It's not about
I'm
me.
sorry, like Adam,
It's
I'm sorry.
teaching
I'm
them
sorry.
to hate.
Your feelings do not take priority for me over teaching children that
I'm
they
not I'm
cannot be
not
successful in the world.
treating anyone any
These two
different. It's
things are
not my
equally
feelings about
bad.
it.
They are equally bad.
I
All
agree,
racism
but
is
they're
bad.
also true.
Racism against white people is not more important than racism against black people. It is not. And when you are saying
Okay,
it's
you got a good point.
anti-right instead of racist, which racist encompasses everyone. If you've ever said all lives matter, you say critical race theory is racist. Otherwise, you're
Yep.
being a hypocrite.
Okay.
Like it's racist. It encompasses everyone. That includes white people. That includes black people. That includes brown people. And
You're
it
right.
also takes back the language so that we can frame ourselves as the people against racism. Instead of
Okay.
being so like I don't want to be framed as the person against anti-white racism. I am against all racism. I am against all racism equally as I believe everyone should be.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. And maybe the term anti-white isn't correct. But the fact remains is they're pitting white people as the boogeyman. And I think that's where people are, because there's no denying it. You're right. It is racism, clear as day. When you say it's anti-white, like I get it. I get your point. I'm not disputing it. And I agree with you
And my
100%.
personal preference about what language I want to use is
Yeah.
mine. It is
Okay.
mine. I am allowed to use whatever language I want to use. I don't have to use any language I do not want to use. And I
Right.
had thousands of people in like all over the place demanding that I use this language. I don't think it's responsible. I'm sorry. I don't think it's responsible on several different levels.
So
Not
when you
the
see
least of
stuff,
which is that it feeds extremely bad people.
so when you see stuff like this, you remember this, the
Yeah,
aspects
that's
and
pretty
assumptions
racist. That's pretty
of
racist.
white culture.
It's also racist against non-white people, by the way, because it says that non-white people can't tell time or work hard or keep a schedule. That's pretty racist against non-white people.
It's pretty racist. You're right.
Yeah, against everyone.
And I think, I get it. It's almost like I hope the people that have been mad at Karlyn are getting her point here, right? Because I agree, it is racist. I don't like being pit as the bad guy. I don't like someone yelling at me because I have biracial nieces and nephews that I love dearly because they're my family. And someone was being mocked online because he was in the exact same situation as me. And they were like, "How dare you?" And it's like, "You're a white guy." And I'm like, what the hell does that have anything to do with it? Because
Right.
I love my nieces and nephews, all of them. Some of them are biracial, some of them aren't. It makes absolutely no difference to me. But suddenly I'm supposed to feel guilt or like some underlying white guilt for this. You know, I think people are upset because they're being the boogeyman, the bad guys, the ones that they're the blame. Like I don't want it like
Yeah.
this picture, like this one was floating around. All white people are racist. And
Yeah.
it's like
That's
that's
real. That's
racist,
really racist.
but it's convincing everyone that it's white people's fault. It's white people's problems. Like they're the reason that this racism
So,
is around.
a person's ability to be successful in the world
Hmm.
is substantially dependent on whether or not they believe they can be successful, whether or not they believe success is possible,
I
right?
agree with
Like
that. Yeah.
so that's we agree that that is a core component to any single person being successful. In
Okay.
this scenario, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but this is the argument that critical race theory makes. Critical race theory says that white people will always be successful based on purely the value of their white skin. That's what
Hmm.
it teaches about white people. It teaches that black people, and they're only, by the way, interested in black people, unless Asians are in the news for something. So let's
Okay.
just stick with that. It teaches that black people cannot be successful unless the white man lifts them up. If I had to choose between the two, and I'm sorry, I don't think either are good, but if I had
Yeah.
to choose between the two, what they're teaching to black children is much more detrimental than what they're teaching to white children. Now, how they are treating white people in the world once you get out into the working world now, and they're saying we're not going to hire white men anymore, that's extremely detrimental as well. And there's going to be a story coming out pretty soon that's going to that's going to illustrate this point entirely. Like it is, we know that it is much easier for black people to get hired now, especially in senior level positions, because everyone wants a diversity hire. But isn't it also incredibly racist to say that we're only hiring you because of the color of your skin? And this is
Definitely.
and we could go on and on for days and days and days and days and days about all the ways this ideology is racist. But I think for me, what it comes down to at the end of the day is that
Hmm.
I downright refuse to prioritize one form of racism over another form of racism just to get clicks on the internet. Like
Yeah.
it's not that important to me. And I flat out know that there are people that are pushing the anti-white language specifically because it gets them more clicks, specifically because it outrages people, specifically to make money. Again, I'm not in this to make money. I took a pay cut to do what I'm doing now. I'm
Yeah.
not in this to make money. I'm in this to actually win. And in order to win, we need to play smarter than what we are playing. I understand that like this little mob thing around the anti-white language. I get that it's fun online and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and it gets clicks and it gets views and all this, but it actually is detrimental in the larger fight because we are handing the left a win. We have got to stop being so dumb that we hand the left a win at every single turn. That's why they're
It's I'm
winning. That's
seeing I'm
why they're
seeing
so far
real
ahead
life
of us.
real life situations where people are being they're succumbing to believing this stuff and then
Yeah.
attacking people for it, attacking
Yes.
outside of their race. And it's not white people that are doing the attacking. I have a bunch of videos. I don't
Yes.
even want to show them because they are racist. It is racist.
Yeah.
And it's
Because if you've
because they're
been
pitting it against, it's this,
that's exactly
the
right.
boogeyman thing.
Yeah, but if
It's
you've been
white people's
taught
fault.
but if you have been taught that your entire life that you can only succeed if these other people are moved out of the way, that's again, that's not anti-white racism, that's anti-black racism.
No, it's just racism.
It's just racism. We can just call it all racism. That's what I call it. I call all things related to critical race theory racism. I'm only enumerating between anti-white and anti-black for the purpose of this conversation, but otherwise I
Okay.
do not do it. Because listen, like you and I are very blessed. We have a lot of people on the internet who listen to us, and
Yeah.
like I
Shout out
came
to
to the
Scott.
Yeah, and I came to this game older, man. Like I'm 40 years old. I'm not like a mid 20 something screwing around on the internet, right? Like I believe in if I want to achieve something, I need to behave responsibly. And so, if people are offended that I'm trying to behave responsibly in regards to this whole fight, to not feed really, really bad people, to not push language that I actually think is going to do more harm than good,
Okay.
I don't know what to tell people. I don't know what to say.
So it seems like what I've gathered from this is it is anti-white
It's
and
racist.
and it's anti-black and it's anti-everyone. It's
Everyone.
anti if you don't agree with me, it's anti-you.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
and there
so
and there and to be really frank, I understand why people are angry. I understand seeing a slide that says be less white. And by the way, the Coke whistleblower was not white. Not
mhm.
white. Just fun fact. But
I
like
have that slide. Here, let me show it
I
for
understand
those
why
who missed it.
yeah, I understand why people are angry. But I also
Tried to be less white.
yeah, but I also need to
What the hell does that mean? What
but
does
I
that even mean?
well, okay, okay, so how critical race theory defines whiteness is, again, it's not actually about race at all. I understand people in the chat are going to say, oh, it has race in the title, how can it not be
Don't
about
worry
race?
about chat.
It's not. Well, I can't even see the chat. I know enough about to know what the comments are. But critical race theory at the end of the day is not actually about race at all. It is about power. Critical race
You
theory
got
is
that
about
right.
destabilizing the system. That's what
I
it
agree
is.
with that as
And
well.
race is the tool that they're using. And when the race
Mhm.
stops working, they'll use something else. I mean, we see this with queer theory and fat studies and all these things. Like it's just simply the tool that they're using. What they mean, and again, this is not my definition. This is critical race theory's definition. What they mean when they say whiteness is
Okay.
whoever owns the power structure. That's what it is. That's why they can get away with terms like multiracial whiteness, because they're basically saying the whole landlord debate came up recently. They're saying that, any landlord is engaging in whiteness. That landlord could be black, that landlord could be brown. They're still engaging in whiteness because they own the property, therefore they own the power structure.
Now,
Critical race theory.
did that term come from these white supremacists, these white
No, that's
whatever?
from that's from critical race theory. No,
But that's still
so you
doing
got
the
to
same
understand
thing though. That's
exactly.
still making white people
Welcome.
the bad guys. They're the ones that are
No,
to blame.
no.
Whiteness is the problem. Like that's what they're saying. They're saying whiteness is the problem.
Well, but you got to understand that these guys, and again, like these are. I'm gonna emphasize these are actual white identitarians
No, I'm
that
not
want
talking about
that
them
want a
anymore.
white. No, no, no.
If it's from
But I want
critical
to I
race
want to I want
theory,
to speak to this. I want to speak to this point. I'm gonna get back to that. So these actual white identitarians want a
mhm,
white ethno state. That's what they want. It's
sure.
horseshoe theory, or it's horseshoe theory.
Yeah, the left and the
They
right
want
come
the
back
same
and
thing.
meet. Okay,
Right, the extremes on the left and the extremes on the right
sure.
want the exact same thing. What does critical
Mhm.
race theory push for, Adam? It pushes for segregation.
Yeah,
This is perfectly acceptable to this group of
it's
white
terrible.
identitarians. That's what they
Yeah,
want.
it's
They
ridiculous.
they ultimately have the same goal,
Okay.
right? And so why are they using the same language as the left?
Mhm.
Because they have the same goal.
I know, but
They
you
don't
said
want it to
earlier
stop.
that these were the ones that were pushing
Yes. Yes.
those
Because
words. But then now
what
you just said
happens.
it's actually from critical race theory in
No,
itself.
no,
It's
no, no, no,
written
no,
in
no.
it. But you
Well,
just said that though.
no, 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 I didn't, Adam. The words what
Yeah, you did.
no, I didn't. What I said is that they are specifically pushing the anti-white language,
Okay,
but
I'm talking
whiteness,
about when you said the landlords.
yeah,
What is whiteness? What
it's
there's claiming whiteness is the issue.
whiteness.
Whiteness is the boogeyman.
Whiteness
They're
is
the
who
problem.
owns the power structure.
Uh-huh. Why
Who
is
owns
it
the
called
power?
whiteness?
Because that's what the critical race theorists called it.
Right. So they're choosing to pick white people as the boogeyman to blame.
As the most powerful. Yeah. As the most powerful. Guess who else wants the white people to be the most powerful? The white identitarians. And what they're
Mhm.
doing when they're pushing this language, and they know exactly what they're doing, is they're making a lot of people angry. And what do angry people tend to do? Or what might be a nice recruiting base for white identitarians? Really angry white people.
Okay.
Really angry, who feel that this is the only community that's sticking up for them. And Adam, I have seen, again, I'm not going to show it because I'm behaving responsibly,
Hmm.
but like I have seen so much material on this. They're calling
Yeah.
it white well-being, they're calling it white positivity, they're calling it white survival. They're calling it a White Lives Matter movement. Like there's so much people can go on Telegram and find it themselves because they're doing all this out in the open. It's not they're not
Okay.
even hiding it.
I mean, it feels like the critical race theorists probably are okay with it.
Yes, because they have the exact same goal. This is the thing.
Yeah.
The critical race theorists and these really, really bad people have exactly the same goal, and that goal is segregation. That is
Yep.
exactly what they want. Now, but again, when we get into and I understand that this is all really complicated. Believe me, I've spent thousands of hours trying to decipher this. But when we get into like the woke progressive left, there are different levels to it, right? Most of the people that are pushing this stuff, they're useful idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They think
Okay.
they're doing it in order to be good people. But there are absolutely people at the very top who know, like they're influencers. They know exactly what they're pushing, and their
Yep.
goal is to destabilize the system. That's the goal.
Okay.
Ultimately, all of this, and again, I figured this out on my own, but James Lindsay completely, we are in complete alignment on this. The ultimate goal is to usher in Marxism. That's what it is, and it's
Okay.
simply about destabilizing all of the power structures to usher in Marxism.
Yep.
That's what the ultimate goal of all of this is, and James Lindsay has done a lot of work on this, breaks it down beautifully, so I don't have to.
Fun fact, if you didn't know this, if you didn't watch my deep dive about Marx, he himself realized later on in life that his own teachings, because he wrote the Communist Manifesto when he was in his 20s, and he spent years and years in libraries as he grew older, to the detriment of his health and family ties and everything, and realized he was wrong about his own teachings, and asked his followers, please put the Communist Manifesto away. Stop reading it. I was wrong. And it's interesting. I know as a side note, has
Yeah.
nothing to do with it, but I thought people might want to know that. Look,
So
Karlyn, I get it. I understand. You know, it's being turned into a weapon, right? The anti-white rhetoric, and we
right.
can't let it. You did say that, you know, what do they recruit these angry white people? It's like, look, I'm angry about this. I
Mm-hmm.
am. I am not suddenly going to shift my entire what I've known my entire life is no one's better than anyone else. Every single person should be judged on their character and their values as a human being, and it has nothing to do with their skin color and all that. Like I truly believe it. I've always believed that. That's how I was raised. I'm not going to suddenly change because I see all people making me out to be the boogeyman. Like somehow I am to blame. You know, I
Yeah, but a lot of
you
the
said
people,
earlier, you said two things can be true at once,
yeah.
right? And I think this is the case. And we just have to be very delicate with the way that we talk about it because these people are weaponizing it. And I mean, I guess the recruiting, I don't see these groups.
I've seen them, and again,
Yeah.
they're doing this in the bowels of like Telegram, but they are doing it out in the open. People can like I went on and found it. I've worked with journalists that have a lot of material on this
Yeah.
stuff. I've seen a lot of it, but I will tell you that these are again. I want to emphasize. I'm not saying this in an SJW way where I'm calling every like people have said like she's calling everyone who thinks it's anti-white a white supremacist. No, that's not what I'm saying, and I want to be very clear about this.
What are
These
you
are
calling them racist though, if they believe it's anti-white?
I
That's
think
kind of
I
what your tweet said.
well, no, if they are placing a higher value on anti-white racism than anti-black racism, then yeah,
Okay.
that's a little bit racist.
But
It
how do
is.
you know that they're
It
doing
is
that? How do you know that that's what they're
because
doing? Because
if you are consistently using the terms anti-white when you
okay.
acknowledge that there are also anti-black parts of critical race theory,
Hmm.
like that's placing one value on anti-white racism and another value on anti-black racism. It can all be solved by just saying critical race theory is racist because that applies to everyone, and that's why we say all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter, right? Because Black Lives Matter is
But
included
Black
in all
lives
lives
do
matter.
matter, though.
Well,
So
yeah,
is it racist to say Black Lives Matter?
and racism against white people matters too.
Hold
But guess
on, but
what? It
is it
doesn't matter
racist to
anymore.
say Black Lives Matter?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah, because you're
Why
saying
though?
because
They do
you're putting
matter.
of course they matter, but they don't matter any more or less than anyone else.
Okay, but so I mean, so saying say I don't agree necessarily because if someone says Black Lives Matter, it's like okay, yeah, they do.
What was the argument that we heard
Pride Lives Matter,
all
like yeah,
last
okay,
summer?
sure.
all last summer about why we should say all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter, because Black lives are included in all lives. Of course, Black lives matter.
Of course they do.
Everyone matters.
Okay. I
And no
agree.
one matters any more or less than anyone else. And it is exactly the same thing with this. Does critical race theory have anti-white components? Of course it does. Are they more important than the anti-black components? No.
No lives matter.
No lives matter. Fine.
You've seen that
so
meme,
why
right?
can't we
The
just
metal
say
guy.
critical race theory is racist? And if you're isolating by race, again, I have to go back to the fact that this is the game that the left wants you to play.
Yeah,
We're playing. This is like, Adam, you know what this is? This is like if the devil came up from hell and said, I want to play a game, but I'm going to set all the rules and I can arbitrarily change the rules whenever I want to throughout the game. You win? And we agreed to it and said, yes, we will play by your rules and you can change the rules at any time and we are completely at your whim. That is exactly what we are doing here. We are saying to the left, we're going to play by your rules. We accept that you can change the rules at any time and we're just going to go by your definitions and do your thing. Part of my premise and how I'm trying to fight back against this is I fundamentally believe it's a really bad idea to accept the deal in the first place. I don't think that we need to accept the premise that we need to play by their rules. Let's create our own rules. And part of that is that I want to be the people to say this whole ideology is just racist. It's just racist. And all racism is wrong. All of it. And it's all equally wrong. And none is more important than anything else. But I got to tell you, like, I want to go back to this white identitarian thing. And I understand this makes people feel uncomfortable to talk about, but it's bigger than people think it is. It is like one of the things I've always been worried about. And frankly, a lot of people have been worried about is when you have an ideology that goes so far in one direction, you're going to have backlash to it. It's just the way of the world. You are going to have, because that's life is about balance. When something happens on one extreme, it will always have a way of balancing it out on the other side. So a lot of people for a really long time have been worried that all of the critical race theory nonsense was going to spur up an actual white identitarian movement again. Well, guess what? It has. There are more people than they think in it. I've seen it. I have clips on my YouTube channel, and these are young white kids that are very angry and very deeply hurt. And I understand how they've gotten to where they are, but they're choosing to channel it in a really, really, really destructive way. And I don't know when it's going to hit us, but it's going to hit us at some point. And I got to tell you, like, my whole worldview in the course of this experience of getting attacked by these people, of going down this rabbit hole and looking for myself and seeing what it was, and not even feeling comfortable enough to talk about it in any sort of mainstream way, because I think these people are so dangerous. Like, this has fundamentally changed my worldview. It's been it's so stressful. I can't, like, even right now I'm like tearing up because
take a breath. It's all good.
Really bad.
We're all friends here, you know.
Really bad.
It's all good. I think I hope people are really getting that though, because I think that is I don't know. It's hard to express because in the same sense that it is anti-white, which it is, but it's anti-everyone. So Black Lives Matter, yes, of course, but all lives matter because it is the same sense. Do you understand that? I mean, I didn't really get it as clear as I do now. Like it does make a lot of sense. You know, it is simply racist against white people and black people and anybody who, because it is just designed to divide and conquer and disassemble society to bring in Marxism, and they're switching the proletariat and versus the the bourgeois,
the bourgeoisie,
the bourgeoisie, I mean, I don't even know who would be the higher ups in this situation, right? I mean,
well, the higher ups, ironically, are the white people that are already in power that are going to stay in power. That's who it is. Because you kind of hit it on the head, though. The entire goal of all of this is just to pit us against each other. That's what it is. They're trying to pit us. That's why all this started popping up after Occupy Wall Street. That's why the media started pushing this after Occupy Wall Street, because Occupy Wall Street was a populist movement at the end of the day, had many faults, but it was
introduce them to identity politics.
Yeah, no, but that's what it was. And guess what happened? They created this.
That's what I was talking about. In 2012, 2013, it was that around that moment where suddenly we started fighting each other. We almost realized that, wow, it is these people in charge, these big bankers, these, the rich elites that are making all the decisions, where we vote. Yeah, okay, sure. Like, I mean, we all saw what happened last year with that. I mean, believe what you will or not, but it's like
Mhm.
we are angry at the wrong people, right? And I get it. This is changing. Um, it's deflecting where our anger's at, right? We need to
Right.
be angry at the people who are actually pushing this stuff on us all.
That's
And
exactly
and I
right.
am, I am. I don't want to
I know.
waste my time on this. I just see white people as being the boogeyman and being the fault. Like the so they're deflecting, right? They're saying, "Don't look at us. We're not the problem. It's white people." You know.
But again,
I
they
know it's
love
it's
white
just
people
race
who no, it is, but they love white people who agree with them.
because it helps push their narrative, though.
That's exactly right. They
See,
elevate
this person
people.
is admitting, like, see exactly, like,
They're
this white person.
so
See
and again,
exactly,
that's
it's
why
true.
it's just not that simple because at the end of the day, this has been created and pushed
Hmm.
by elitist white academics. Do
Yep.
you think that elitist white academics are going to push an ideology that takes them out of power? I don't.
It's interesting too. Someone in chat just said they like it when black people agree with them too, and it's like they like it when anyone agrees with them.
It's anyone. It
Does
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter what
And if a black
side,
person
what
disagrees,
color skin,
yeah, and if a black person disagrees with them, they're going to call him a white supremacist in the LA Times.
because that's the boogeyman. That's the
Yes,
the the go-to blame, the
it is
deflection,
only
the
about
white power, the white people that are being to blame for all this.
it is only about maintaining power. That is
Hmm.
it. Like once people realize, and I find that there's a moment when people are learning about critical race theory that they see the bigger picture, and
Yeah.
it really does happen. For me, it came when I was reading In Defense of Looting last summer when I was
Oh,
reading
I
about
remember
how
that.
yeah how
You were live tweeting it.
I was live tweeting it, like, it was
Yeah.
talking about how property rights are capitalism and therefore racist, and so we had and it was, like, all this thing, but I had this epiphany of, like, this is just about power, and I could
Hmm.
see it clearly. This is only about maintaining power, and at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's about defeating capitalism. I mean, I've watched thousands of hours of these trainings. I'm gonna be
Yep.
watching one of these trainings. I'm looking for a fat studies training
Oh,
to watch tomorrow, but, like,
a
I
what?
want a fat studies training. I've been doing
Fat?
critical race there's fat studies, critical
What's that
fat
mean?
studies. It's, like, about
Critical
fat
fat?
phobia.
Oh,
So
fat phobia.
I'm trying to change it up from watching so much critical race theory.
Good
So
for you.
like there are all these
Don't
different types
break your
of
brain.
no, but there are all these different types of critical theories, right? So if you
Mhm.
look at James Lindsay and Helen Pluckrose's book Cynical Theories, it's about all the different types of critical theory. There's critical race theory, there's critical
Right.
gender theory, critical queer theory, critical fat studies, like disability studies, all this stuff. So tomorrow, actually, on my channel, I'm going to be watching
Oh,
a training live at 3 p.m. because I do this all the time. But the point I
goodness
want to
sake.
make is that in every single critical race theory training that I watch, they
Yeah.
talk about capitalism as the boogeyman. It's not even, and this is what a lot of people don't
Another thing
understand.
that Marxists even admitted later on in life, he said, "You know what? We wouldn't have this society without capitalism." So actually,
Right.
capitalism is pretty good. Marxist himself came to that conclusion after years of study. These people need to, if you go watch my deep dive,
Oh,
you
well,
need to know more about Marx. If you,
they'll find a way to explain their way out of it. But I guess the larger point I want to make by this is actually it's not actually true that white people are the biggest boogeyman in critical race theory.
Mhm.
Capitalism is the biggest boogeyman in critical race theory. And they've merely, again, because we
Yeah.
have to understand, like, take the critical blank theory.
Well,
Whatever is in the middle is the tool.
isn't whiteness the same,
Okay, so we just talked about how there are a whole bunch of different types of critical theory, right?
right?
Critical gender theory, critical race
Yeah,
theory.
but we're talking about
So
critical race
hang on,
theory.
hang on. I'm gonna make a point. I'm gonna make a point. So you have to take whatever word is in between critical theory. So critical race theory, critical
Okay,
gender theory. That is
sure.
the tool that they are using to create the division. That's just the tool. In
Uh
this
huh.
case, race is just the tool. So what they have to do is they have to use their tool in order to create division so they can maintain power. So what do? They look at who the majority race is, and then they start to frame everything in terms of it being that race's fault because
Hmm.
race is the tool that they are using to destabilize the system. So, like, whatever it is. So, tomorrow on my channel, hopefully, we're going to be watching a fat studies thing. I don't know. So, they're going to be using weight as the tool to try to pit against each other, or they're going to be using LGBT stuff, or they're going to be using gender stuff, or they're going to be using disability stuff. And these things are all merely tools in the broader toolbox that is
Yep.
critical theory.
Okay. I that was great. I mean, it wasn't really a debate. It was a little bit of
You
a.
yelled at me a couple times.
I did not yell at you.
You
No.
got a little heated.
You wouldn't let me speak sometime
You
some
wouldn't
of
let
this.
me speak. You were interrupting me like misogynist.
I'm pretty sure between the two of us, you
That was
spoke a
a
lot more than
joke.
I did.
That was it.
Um,
We're talking about
but
my
let's.
perspective, Adam. Of course, I'm going to speak more.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Karlyn. And honestly, I hope the people that were angry at Karlyn kind of understand her standpoint on it. It's not that it she. I mean, you know that they're making white people the boogeyman, but it's as equally racist. Your whole point is we can't choose one over the other, right? We can't say that this needs to take priority, that it's anti-white. No, it's bad for everyone, right? Am I
Yeah.
am I summing it up correctly?
I think I've got a couple like key points that I want people to take away from this. One is that it's just like racism includes everyone. We have to stop giving into the left's definition that racism only applies to certain groups. When like if you say critical race theory is racist, that includes white people. So we
Okay.
have to start adjusting to that. Number two, I really want people to understand that we need to be focused on winning, not on owning the libs. We have to be
How do we
focused
do
on
that?
winning.
How do we do that? How can
We have
someone help win?
we have to be better at playing their game. Right now, to be quite frank, a lot of us suck at fighting the left because we're playing on the left's ball field.
Okay.
And every single time we engage in these discussions where we're putting race at the forefront, where we're saying like anti-white, anti-black, whatever it is,
Mhm.
we are literally playing their game. Hey, Adam, before all this, did you ever refer to anything as anti-white in your life?
I no.
No. Would you ever refer to anything as anti-black or anything having to like in the time that we
No.
grew up in, we didn't even refer to this. These
No,
are
I didn't
tools
think
that the
about race. Race was
yeah,
never I was never it never came about. Like I you were very similar in age. I'm
yeah,
37. So, we were teenagers in the 90s, and it's like
yeah.
I mean, and I went to high school outside Philadelphia where there was all different colors, and like there was cool people that were nice to me, and there were bullies that were of all colors that like it literally made no difference. It was the character, it was
Exactly.
the how you treated me, and it's like that's how I've always thought. Like it never dawned on me that I needed to, or not that I ever will. It's like this is what they're claiming, that I need to like treat people differently because of the color of their skin. It's like, no, if you're
Well,
cool to me, I'm gonna be cool to you. Like that's how I've always been.
but that's exactly right. But the minute that we start categorizing people based on race is the minute that we're starting to play their game. I
Hmm.
fundamentally believe that we should be rejecting the rules that the left is pushing on us. We shouldn't accept rules just because they've given them to us. We have to create our own rules. But the
That's it
left,
right there. That right, what you
yeah,
just said is the reason why you get so frustrated. And I
it,
get it. I understand because we are giving in to
yes,
essentially their demands.
exactly.
They're demanding that we accept that white people are the problem and that black people are inferior and all the rest of the races are marginalized and this and that. And it's like
And we
we're
also
not.
have to
None
be
of that
smart.
exists.
Well, and we also have to be smarter than the left because they take advantage of every single opportunity. So if someone is out there like
Hmm.
acting a fool and then saying anti-white, 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 what the left does is they then point to that person and they say this is indicative of everyone who's against critical race theory, who's ever spoken out against critical race theory. This is what these people look like. Well, no, this is just a crazy person ranting. That's all it is. And
All
we
right.
know that, but they don't. And the last thing I want to say is like I really cannot emphasize this enough. I
Hmm.
I I know a lot of the whistleblowers. I am friends with a lot of whistleblowers that have bravely come forward, put themselves on the line, lost their job to speak out against this stuff. And it infuriates me that people would actively work against what they are like we talk about this stuff. They I don't think that anyone thinks that people are purposefully trying to diminish the contribution that all of the whistleblowers who have come forward have made, but that's what
Yeah.
they're doing when they're just not behaving responsibly. What I am talking about is a bare minimum of responsibility. Just say it's racist. That includes everyone. And it doesn't hand the left a win. It doesn't work against our collective goal, which should be defeating this. That is the goal. We need to defeat it.
I like it. I like it. We do need to defeat it. I agree. I mean, and you saw that teacher getting fired, right?
Oh yeah, that was pretty epic. And that school board meeting was awesome. I was watching that
I
live
didn't.
last
I
night.
was live. I was live yesterday,
Oh,
so I couldn't actually watch it. But
it's recorded. I'm gonna go
I
back and
want to.
watch the whole thing
Can
again.
you send me that link on Twitter so I
Yeah.
can have that?
Mhm.
Man, what was I about to say? I was about to say something. Oh, I read an article about how so he came out and had that like hey, I want to say thanks to these people and my allies and like all the, all my students that, I'm gonna miss. And it's like, bye, teacher, leave them kids alone.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but I heard that because of what he was doing, he actually outed a lot of his other, I'll call them allies in
No
his.
kidding.
Yeah, so more
Good.
people, I think, it's like a domino that got flicked over, and I heard about the parents being absolutely
They were
pissed,
pissed. They were
which is,
not happy.
did they shut it down? Did they stop them?
So what
I
I
heard that they
heard,
closed it. They were like, we're just gonna
so
pull the full plug.
I didn't see the end of it because I had to go to another
Ah,
meeting, but like what I heard happened is they said they were taking a break and then they just
yeah.
never came back.
Oh man, we can't handle this. Oh man.
No, those parents were pissed, but I'll send you the link.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some super chats. I'm sure we've got lots of fun things to discuss
Some
from super
spicy
chats.
questions.
I'm sure we're
I
gonna
will
enjoy
answer
this.
any question asked in good faith. If you do not ask in good faith, I will mock you relentlessly.
Okay, I respect that. Robert Wiles coming in hot first with a $10 super chat. I hope this makes Betty smile and Diana Francisco smile. My mom is doing better and my nephew is still here. I'm glad y'all are making sure I'm doing good. Be blessed, everyone. That's awesome.
Love
Chat,
you, Robert.
are you guys are just giving him some good vibes? That's my chat. Love my chat. Shout out to chat. Robert again says, you both have a blessed soul. I'm walking so good now. The other day, someone didn't realize that I had a fake leg. Been so long since that happened.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome, dude.
Nice. It's good to know that you're adjusting to the newer leg. It's been a while actually since you've had that, right? I don't even. I remember you telling me you got the new leg, but that's months now, right? I mean, geez, you've had it for a while, so it's good to know that you're really coming into it. Emperor Mark Robershaw. He changed his name to Emperor now. Interesting. I like it. Well, it was Darth yesterday, so he changed it to
Oh,
Emperor.
wow.
Anyway, Robershaw says, I wonder who has softer skin, Adam or Karlyn.
Probably Adam. I feel like you moisturize more than I do.
Yeah, I don't moisturize
Yeah?
ever, but
No?
I have really I have really delicate skin. I'm allergic
Mhm.
to metal, and I get like I can get allergic reaction. So like my skin's very delicate. I think it's soft. I got soft skin,
Hmm.
but I've got thick skin though. Anyway, let's see. GJJ says you and Allison Moreau teaming up might be cool.
I think I actually
Who's
had
that?
an email into Allison at one point when all this stuff was going down because I was reaching out to a lot of journalists to try to get any journalist to act like a journalist.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
so
because they're terrible at journalizing,
well,
whatever it's called.
it's not even that. It's that a lot of them are scared, but there are people that are looking at it. So we'll
Yeah.
see if it gets covered eventually.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interesting. You mentioned something's coming out soon. I don't know if you can say it
There's
live.
I can't because it was told to me in confidence, but there's gonna be a story coming out like it's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow
Okay.
there's another
Can you
whistleblower
tell me
coming out
after
for
the
a
show?
yeah, I'll tell you after this show. Yeah, yeah.
That was a $20 super chat, by the way, from GJJ. Thank you so much, sir. Robert Shaw says, "Is that a beanie?" No, that's a Red Sox
No,
hat.
it's the Red
Oh,
Sox hat. I'm wearing it
oh,
backwards.
I'm a Cubs
Had to
fan.
have my rally hat.
I've always been a Cubs fan. I'm not a fair weather.
Well,
I was at a Cubs game. I sang with Harry Carey. Like I'm an OG Cubs fan. So
I was
just letting
raised a
everyone know.
Yankees fan, and then I went to school in Boston, and I think I became a Red Sox fan just to piss my parents off.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Classic. Let's see. Very angry citizen says, "Will the coffee roaster toast the doctor?" Stay tuned and find out.
I think we
Oh,
had a
and
nice
hello
civilized
all.
chat.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it was civil discourse, right? I mean, where would the world be without civil discourse? I think we all know the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Yeah, because we're going there.
And their
Hopefully we can fight
dystopian
it.
reality.
Yeah, right. Robert Shaw says pepperoni is supreme. I guess I'm evil. Well, yeah, you were Darth yesterday. Now you're Emperor. Like, okay, goodness. Sejong with a $10 super chat says, "Why critical race is anti-white people's people's wait anti-white people's is because if you do anything against it, you are immediately labeled white, even if you are black. It is racist, but specifically anti-white racism. It exists." Well, this was early on, Karlyn. We handled this one
Okay.
already.
Just to emphasize, that's actually anti-black. If you're calling a black man white, that's anti-black.
I think it's just racist, though. You can't use that term. You can't say that. Right.
It is just
Got to
racist.
adhere to your
racist.
own viewpoint on it, right? I mean, it's like it isn't anti anything but just simply racism.
Right.
Standing as your own standpoint on the whole thing. Robert Shaw says, look up dementia. You'll see a picture of Biden. Oh my goodness.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you have the dictionary. It's probably still in there. He's old. It's from the 90s.
I'm gonna look up dementia while you're reading super chats.
You know, it's funny too, because in 1988, the dude said he lied about being top of his class, that he had 3 degrees, and that he graduated summa cum laude or whatever. And it turns out he was 70 something out of 80 people. He was at the bottom of the class. He only had 1 degree, and he wasn't summa cum laude. And he said, you know what he said? You know, this is his real response. He said, my memory failed me. So in the 80s, he lied his butt off and said his memory failed him. It's like, oh my gosh, dude.
So here is the dictionary definition of dementia. Insanity or madness. Psychiatry, a severe organic mental deficiency or impairment distinguished from amnesia.
Okay.
So, okay.
Well, I mean, if you listen to Biden speak ever in the history of him being in politics, he's fast, he's articulate, he's speaking, coherently. Really, I think it's the most important thing. Yeah, it's not who he is now. He is a shell of his former self. Trusted Flagger with a $10 super chat says, Karlyn, the discussion is why it says why they, but I think why the critical race theory is and its real world effects both are anti-white. You're pretending it isn't because you're afraid of white identitarians rising up. Has zero relevance. I don't know if look, Trusted, it absolutely has relevance. It makes sense that they would use this as a weapon, of course. A lot of these super chats have come in while we were having the discussion, and I feel like you explained it thoroughly about how it is simply just racist. You cannot choose one racism over the other because this is what they want. They want to divide us. They want us going, it's not being angry about that instead of being angry about critical race theory in itself being racist towards everyone.
Yeah,
that's what we need to unite on. That I think that is like the core of it. It's like whether or not it is, because I think it's like I said, the deflection is aiming people at white people, which I think is terrible. I think that in itself it sucks. But then at the same time, they're using their own word, marginalizing literally everyone else. But that's what they want.
That's what they want.
They want people aiming over there. So I think, I've seen the real world effects, and it is causing division, and that's what they want. So it is working.
And again,
on both sides.
And I will explain this more once this story is revealed publicly, but we're going to see a story come out, I think in the next week or so, that is going to clearly distinguish how critical race theory holds back Black people. It's the most clear example of it I've seen. I'm happy to talk about it once the story is out.
I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to see what it's about. You want to, is it going to be on before next Thursday?
I'm not 100% sure of when it's coming out, but I know it's coming out soon.
We'll have to break it down when it comes up. Emperor Robert Shaw says critical race theory only works if we made contact with alien life. Okay, weird, but
I think the aliens would actually be very upset with us and how we're behaving. They're like, you guys need to evolve
come back
more. Yeah,
you guys are gonna have to figure that out. He continues. He says, which is better, peanut butter or Nutella?
Peanut butter. But it has to be like good organic peanut butter, no
peanut butter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree. I think peanut butter is better than Nutella. Yeah. Let's see. Robert Shaw says, which is better, chocolate or caramel? I know this one's tough, actually.
I don't like milk chocolate is the thing, but dark chocolate I like better than caramel.
Well, I don't do milk anything, so chocolate is just dark chocolate to me. So I'm still I think I'm gonna go with caramel though. I think if I had the choice, I would choose a caramel over like a dark chocolate any day.
I think caramel can be good, but not if it gets too hard. Like if it gets too hard, it's not good. But if it's like done really
That good
well,
caramel
like yeah,
though.
the good caramel, like
Well,
salted
well,
caramel.
no, that's what we're talking. We're talking like the best caramel versus the
Okay.
best chocolate. Which same answer though?
I think maybe I don't know. I'm torn. Maybe caramel.
I gotta go with
like
caramel.
the really good one.
Caramel. Batman says, "I'm Batman. I'm Batman." Come on, do it.
No.
What? Come on.
I don't want people to clip that. No.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Sorry, I'm having fun here. Robert Shaw says, "Who was the best Batman actor?"
Oh God.
Darth Call actually asked this on Twitter, and I think Christian Bale.
I think Christian Bale. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Christian Bale.
The thing is they're so different. Like Michael Keaton's Batman was awesome, right? Adam West's Batman was awesome, but Batman being like the awesome, like just like rugged and gritty in world, Christian Bale.
As long as we can agree that Ben Affleck is not the best Batman.
I don't think he's as bad as some haters take him out.
But he's not better. He's not.
Someone in chat just said Val Kilmer. I thought Val Kilmer actually did a good job, but the movie
sucked.
It came out in a time when they were making the cheesiest movies ever, and sometimes they were good, and sometimes they were just like, oh, come on.
But that whole series with Christian Bale, all three of those movies were so good.
I know.
All three of them were so good.
That's a good point. All right, let's continue. Robert Shaw says, "I'm asking the most important questions." Indeed. Trusted Flagger again with a $10 super chat says, "I don't believe Karlyn or Lindsay truly believes it isn't anti-white. I believe they say it isn't to hedge a bet against having the white identitarians siding with them. It's an optics argument, in my opinion." But hold on, I got this, Karlyn. I got your back. You know that it is pitting people and making white people the boogeyman, but you have stated firmly it is racist. Period. Yeah. It's racist here. It's racist there. It's racist over here. It's not. You didn't say that you didn't believe it isn't anti-white. You didn't say that.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, too, is this is not just an optics thing, and people really need to understand this. Again, my goal is to win. It is not to be a pundit forever. It is to win. And if I have a group of people that are directly working against my ability to win, which both is happening on the far left and the far right, like, I'm not going to support those people in any way, shape, or form. But to James Lindsay's point that he made in his workshop in Tampa, if you're just looking at those components of it, you are missing the much bigger problem. And we have a much bigger problem than just like these anti-white components. The Marxism stuff and the destabilization of the system, much bigger problem.
No, you made it clear. You made it more than clear, because these are earlier in the
I know, but I find that people sometimes need to hear things. You know, the marketing rule of thumb, Adam, is that people need to hear something at least 7 times before they actually understand it and, like, you know, solidifies in their heads. So I'll repeat it as many times as I have to.
This is my show. All right. This is my show.
Repeat
it on your own time. No, I don't want to.
You invited me on this show to have this discussion.
I know, and and I said you already answered the question.
Okay.
So it's all good. Don't make me mute you. I booted you off the show before.
I've done my knitting. I'll be fine.
Hydro says, if something is anti-skin color, does that make it racist? Yeah.
Yeah.
If so, then critical race theory is anti-white. But that's the thing. It is anti-white, but it also is anti-black, anti-everything else. So that's focusing on one is missing the point, right? I mean, and we discussed this. You don't have. I know you.
I'm not going to reiterate. You're doing it nicely.
Yeah. Robert Shaw says, "Who's sexier, Henry Cavill? Is it Carville? I thought it was Cavill.
I'm not sure. I know
it says Carville. Well, or Ryan Reynolds. I thought they were the same person." No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna go with Ryan Reynolds.
I think Henry Cavill made an amazing Superman, and Ryan Reynolds is also an incredible. I don't know.
Because
I feel like they're the same.
I'm
just gonna say they're the same. They're on the same level.
Ryan Reynolds is hilarious, which makes him more sexy in my eyes.
Is that it? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hydro says it's amazing how anti-white things are. That even if you say critical race theory is anti-white, you're wrong. I mean, no. So no one's see. That's the thing. It's like no one said that it isn't.
You feeling my pain now?
No, it's. But these are good questions, though. This is what people think. It's not like.
Yeah, but I just hope that these people asking these have kept an open mind and are listening to the bigger picture. And I'm sure many of them are, but I
Well,
also
but that's where you are, and you made it very clear. You're very experienced. You've been in it for so long. You've gotten to this point. Okay, well that's you. You're already there. So
yeah.
you have to understand that not everyone is over there,
And I
right?
do, but I also think that people can exercise again just a little basic responsibility as adults to listen and understand something before they attack it. Because
Right.
when they're just flying off the handle and attacking it, and especially when it happens in public, they are not helping, they are hurting. And I know that they don't mean to hurt, and I know that they're doing it from a place of like frankly like righteous indignation, and I get it. But at the
Hmm.
same time, we have all got to keep our eye on the prize.
Well, I agree with that. That we need to defeat critical race theory, right?
Mhm.
Obviously. Let's see here. Robert Shaw says, which is better, Greek food or Turkish food? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know if I've ever had Turkish food, to be honest. Greek food's pretty good though.
I don't know.
I like a gyro. Gyros are good.
Yeah,
You
is it
don't eat
gyro?
gyros. I don't know. I call it
Yeah, I
gyro.
do. There's vegan falafel
You have
stuff.
hummus.
What are you talking about?
You,
There's vegan falafel stuff that
no,
can
I don't know.
or what is it? That's not falafel. It's kebabs. What's the stuff? What's that thing that they like shave the strips of meat off
The
the
big
thing?
shank. The
Yeah,
shank.
isn't that what they use on
I
gyros
think
or
so.
gyro? Is it gyro or euro? I have no
I'm
idea.
gonna say gyro. Gyro is how I learned it. It's what's in my head.
I thought it was gyro. Oh,
I don't know.
Sejong is in chat saying gyro,
I'm
and
gonna say gyro.
he's he's actually given me websites on how to pronounce things. So I actually think that shawarma is shawarma, is that Turkish? People are saying shawarma. I don't even know. All right. Anyway,
Whatever.
we got lots of super chats, so let's get into it. Alternate Keck says critical race theory is designed to debase, deperson, and vilify them. Its purposes to be the institutional route to cull European identity, culture, and power.
No, because that means
Mm?
white.
No, it's but
European.
oh
So one of the arguments that critical race theory makes is that white
uh-huh.
is a definition that came up when people came to America because
Hmm.
all the different white people in Europe didn't call themselves white. They called themselves like English or Irish or Scottish or any of these
Italian,
things. And then once
German.
we came over to America,
They
it
still
was
do,
white
by the
versus
way.
black. Yeah, yeah, but that's part of the argument. So when they say like of European ancestry, what they mean is white.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Robert Shaw says, who was the biggest slave traders in the world? I don't know.
I don't know.
Genghis Khan?
I don't
Didn't
know.
he take over like the most? I don't even know.
I don't look at like the history of this stuff anymore. I only watch practical stuff that's actually being executed.
You're staying in the now. That's good.
Yeah. Present moment,
J-
man.
Joe Biden's dentures says critical race theory is demonstrably anti-white. To deny that means it is impossible to take your arguments seriously. I mean, no, because she was arguing that it is a whole like your whole thing, Karlyn, is to take a step back from that and say
Yep.
it's all racist, and we need to focus on it all is racist.
Mhm.
And it's not to say that it isn't anti-white because they are choosing to make white people the enemy, but that's I get your argument. I feel like we explain this,
And
and
and the reality is, and we don't need to do this with every single one of these chats. This comes up
it
because
will there's going to be a lot, I know.
this has been my life for the last 3 months, and so I understand what's going to come up. But I will say this: it's like I'm one person.
Hmm.
And I don't have a team, I don't have a staff, and I have to be very strategic about who I put my energy into and what I put my time into.
Yeah.
If you are not convinced at this point that critical race theory is racist, then we're just not on the same team. And I'm sorry, like I cannot focus on having this argument every single day because I'm actually trying to fight the larger battle. And for me, I'm trying to find people that understand the bigger picture to
Yeah.
align with. And
Well, you
so,
you made it
no, we're
clear.
just not on the same team, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. People can think differently on things. Little Witch says Carlin told people who disagreed with her on this to F off, so I
Yes.
did. I don't watch her or you when she's on. Yeah, and that's your right, Little Witch. That's fine.
Yeah.
Red-blooded Republican says it targets whites. What? Uh, what? Of course, it's anti-white. Therefore, it's anti-everyone, I guess. But it's definitely specifically anti-white. I know, but I mean, I'm just gonna, we've answered these.
Yeah, but
Tim,
what I want
not
to say
Tim.
though, and I'm not going to speak to that, but I want to say, like, for me, like,
Mhm.
it honestly, and I'm just trying to be like real human in this chat because I think that's important. Like,
Yeah,
it makes me sick to my stomach to answer this over and over and over and over and over and over again. It really does. Because every single time that I have to have this discussion, it's
yeah.
like it's time taken away from fighting the actual fight, and it's a
I don't
complete and
agree with
total.
that.
It is though
Can
because
I give you a perspective though on this?
sure.
I mentioned earlier, and you made it very clear that you're very experienced, right? You're
Yeah,
over here, and every single time you explain this to somebody, you help them get closer to where
well,
you are in your experience. Hold on,
eh,
I'm. Let me get this thought
okay,
process out, please.
sure.
Okay, so I know that you're there, and there's millions of people on this planet,
Mhm.
billions, right? Millions in America, billions on this planet, and each time one person comes to you, regardless of if they're triggered or not, or if they're an ally or they hate you or they want to actually have a civil discussion with you, there's gonna be, I mean, to win, right? I asked you earlier, how do we win? How do we get there, right?
Right.
If you are just shutting down and getting pissed off and being angry at people because you have to keep explaining stuff that you've already come to
Yeah.
such a significant distance because you've had so much experience with it, you're going to start turning people away and getting angry
Yes.
about it instead of actually helping people get along with it.
I will 100% turn people away. And the reason I do that, Adam, is I've got a lot of people in my community that understand this. I have a
Okay.
lot of people who took the time to listen, who took the time to understand, who understand my philosophy. Now, if people are not aligned with me,
So that's an
I
echo
have
chamber though. So
no,
it's like,
it's not an echo chamber. What I'm
how
trying
is
to do
how is that
what
not
I'm
an echo
trying to
chamber?
because what I'm trying to do is put together people who are actually interested in fighting back. And we
Hmm.
come up with different ways to fight back and we're doing different things and we have like, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff like just as a community to do this. But what I can't have is people coming into it every single day and
Hmm.
making this because this is what happens. And I know this is not what people want to hear, but like I will explain it once, I will explain it twice. When I am on the 87th time of explaining a concept and people are still fighting and creating a ruckus, then it becomes a distraction.
I
And
vaguely remember 15 minutes ago when you say sometimes you have to explain it or 8 times to these
yeah, but
people. And it's like,
this is not 7 or
I
8
mean,
times, and we've seen in this chat that we've been round and round and round and round about this.
right, but there's
And
all no,
it
no,
reaches
no,
a
no, no, no,
point.
no, no. You're talking about the super chats that were coming in as we were
Well, and
discussing it.
that's
They're
fine,
not coming in now.
and I genuinely hope that the people who sent them in listened and
Okay.
considered it, and I genuinely do. But the
Mm,
fact of the matter is that for me, like what I'm trying to do with my work is build a like I'm trying to create more people like me. That is my
okay.
job. Like I view my job as creating more people like me. And what I mean by that are people who are speaking up, who are being brave, who are pushing back in their communities or in any way that makes sense for them. Those are the people that I need to focus on. I cannot
Okay.
focus, and this is why
So then why are you even talking about this then?
well,
Like,
because
who cares?
I'm trying to help people to understand
That you
why
don't
I'm
care to help anyone
no,
outside of your circle that
no,
you already have
no,
established.
no, don't put words in my mouth, please. But what I'm
No, no,
trying to
this is what I'm taking from what you've said.
well, but
I'm
can I
not
finish?
claiming that you said that.
In order to do that, I cannot have people that are disrupting things. It
Okay.
distracts from everything. And so if people are not aligned with me, that's fine. We
Mhm.
don't have to be. And I genuinely hope that they can go find some place where they are aligned and they do feel like a part of the community and they can talk about anti-white this and anti-white that till their heart's content. But it's
But
not going to be in my community.
don't you think that that's pushing people towards these,
It
for
may
example,
be,
you brought up the white identitarians. Don't you think
yeah,
that that's helped pushing more people in that direction
it
instead of
It might
helping the people that are actually vulnerable that might actually come over and help this fight
it
against critical race
It
theory.
might be, but the fact of the matter is that we don't have a lot of time in order to fight back to be able to turn this around, and I am doing the best that I can with what I have. And sometimes that means welcoming some people onto the team and saying to others, "Listen, man, it's not you, it's me. This is just not a good fit. I am
Hmm.
not a good fit." And again, when people approach it with an open mind and they listen, then I have absolutely no problem explaining this ad nauseum. What I have experienced in this whole thing with the amount of people that I've heard from, and I recognize names. I see people who are coming back again and again and again and saying the same things over and over again, is there are people who are just doing it to distract. There are people
Okay.
who are being willfully ignorant. They're not having an open mind. They have made up their mind and it's anti-white and that's the way it's going to be. Those people present a distraction to what I'm trying to do. In organizations, if you have one person like that on your team, that inhibits the productivity of two absolutely rock star performers. So that is the mindset that I'm going in with, that I cannot have
Mm-hmm.
one person coming in and distracting two rock stars. I can't do it. It's
Well, and I
hard
do
enough
want
as
to
it
let
is.
everyone know that Karlyn's profession is a business workplace environment psychologist,
Yeah.
right? So like that background, what you're saying there, like I instantly was like, right, because you have that kind of a knowledge of the way things need to work to have a good production value or
Right.
efficiency, right? So I get it, I
So
understand.
that's what it is.
We have
That's the
lots of super
philosophy.
chats. I'm gonna
Go
keep
ahead.
moving.
Okay, do
Not
it.
Tim
Oh
says,
God.
tell you what, you're both wrong.
Someone sent me the image of that guy's icon too.
Oh, good.
I
Did
was
you see
like,
it?
that is pretty great.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
pretty
see
great.
it. All right, good, good.
It's pretty great.
Trusted again says $10 super chat. Karlyn blocks people who disagree with her on this. She is more worried about a white identitarian siding with her rather than being honest about critical race theory's effects on white people. It's disingenuous.
That
Okay,
sounds a little bit racist to me.
that's your right to feel that way. Ben with a $9 super chat says, "Love and support you both. I tip when I can. Saving for big changes sounds good. If either of you hit northern Wyoming, dinner is on me."
Ah,
Nice.
sweet.
I've never been to Wyoming. Have you been there?
Neither. No, I haven't. I want to go.
Yeah, I've never been to Wyoming. I would like to go. I want to hit up all the states eventually. I'm getting pretty close. I've got.
What is
I think I'm at
the?
like 38 or something.
That's
Been to
about
a
where
lot.
I'm at too. But like, so what is the? Isn't there like some sort of like national park in Wyoming? What is the like Old Faithful? Is that what it is? Is that in
Is it
Wyoming?
Yellowstone
I don't know.
or Yosemite?
We could go on a great
I don't know.
alien hunting adventure in a national park in Wyoming, Adam.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Robert Shaw says, "Why do people need to insult because they disagree? Resort to insults because they disagree? It's a triggered thing. I think people are. I don't know. Not a lot of people are able to do it.
But if you're gonna
Ten,
insult people, don't expect them to be nice to you.
yep, true. I mean, you treat others as you would hope to be treated. So if you stoop to a certain level, then don't
You're
expect.
responsible
Yeah,
for
you should
your
expect to be
behavior.
getting it back. $10 super chat from Trusted Flagger again says, "Here's a question for Karlyn. If followed to its full conclusion, who is more likely to be killed, white people or people of color?" Ask her.
Uh,
I mean, I did. Go ahead.
actually, white people, because generally speaking, they kill the useful idiots first.
And it's the white people that are the useful idiots in critical race theory.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people that actually agree with it. Those are the most likely people to get killed first.
So,
But I also want
like
to
Robin
emphasize.
DiAngelo, first against the wall.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're already sacrificing Robin DiAngelo because her going around saying all white people are racist is no longer convenient to their narrative. So they're already sacrificing her. But what I will say is, again, I want to emphasize, because one of the things that became very clear to me in this whole thing is that there are a very large number of people who think that like a literal white, like World War II style. I don't know if we can say that word on your channel, but like a white, killing off a lot of
The
white people.
Yahtzees.
Yes, the Yahtzees. Like, people literally think that's going to happen, and there's like a lot of people who think that. We're a long way off from that, and there are a lot of things that are much more important to worry
Saying we're a
about.
long way off doesn't mean that it's not on the way.
Well, yeah, but it's
That's a
one of those
scary
things. But,
premise.
but we could say anything's on the way. Like
I mean,
eighty-seven
and who
thousand
knows
things
though?
need to fall into place.
Have you seen
It
Australia
could,
lately?
but guess what? Guess what we can do to stop that? We can say critical race theory is racist and treat it as though it's a racist ideology. That would stop that eventuality.
I think people are one of the issues is with you cutting people out
Oh yeah.
is I understand why you're doing it, but I think it's creating more of like a being stuck on a specific that subject like that like they're now you don't have to explain it because I know
Yeah.
that that's not what like but do you understand what I'm saying? Like it's making people being like, what? She doesn't even she just blocked me, so like I must be right, you know? Like that's
If you come into my feed and insult me, yeah, you're gonna get blocked because I
well,
don't have
insulting
time
you
for
is
this.
different. If people insult me and are you
But
rude
if
to me, then
okay,
you can get out of here.
okay, so but like, listen, I need to paint the picture for this because like again, I was attacked by over
No,
4,000 actual
I
really bad people.
look,
No,
Carlin,
but
Carlin, you've
here's the thing.
explained it so many
No, no,
times.
no,
Look,
I actually have not explained this.
blocking blocking
No,
people.
I haven't explained this, Adam. Let me finish.
Oh my
So
goodness.
when I went on Twitter and said, if you say this, I'm going to block you, I was
Okay.
trying to weed people out to know who was who, to
Then
know
why
who
didn't you
and
block me then? Because I thought I think
because I
it's
know
anti-white.
you. But if I don't know you and you're coming into my feed with a frog icon and you're acting like a white identitarian, then I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm going to group you in with them because I
Okay.
said specifically don't do this thing or I'm going to block you. Then you come in and do the thing.
Telling,
Like,
but seriously,
sorry.
Carlin, telling the internet not to do something
But
like
but Adam
you're
again.
doing it. You're like
Oh,
announcing, bring it.
I purposefully wanted people who were inclined to this type of
Okay,
behavior
so
to
you
do it.
wanted it. So you did it.
Yes.
You asked for it then. So you
Well,
can't.
no, it was already happening, and then I said, "You know what? Let's just get them all in one
I know,
fell
but you
swoop."
hear how that sounds though. You hear how
I
that
don't
sounds.
care. I don't care because
Okay.
again, this entire conversation is a distraction to my larger goal, which is to
Hmm.
create a group of people who will actually fight back. And people who are doing this nonsense stuff on the internet, I'm sorry, they're not going to fight back. If people are offended that I blocked them, then they can email me, they can ask nicely to be unblocked, which many people do, and I usually do it. But if they're going to be like whining off in a corner because I blocked them, I'm sorry, it's Twitter. Like grow up, act like an adult, and maybe I'll reconsider.
Okay. Ed says Carlin is the same leftist she was before she started grifting off the red pill groups. She's not part of that group. I know that you were a conservative for like 5 minutes.
I've never been a conservative.
I'm sorry,
Never conservative.
Republican for like 5 minutes.
Right, we had a one night
Whatever it
stand.
was.
Yeah, one night stand.
There we go. Silence differing opinions and calls them white identitarians. I we I think we've covered this super chat by now.
Welcome to my
Barbershop
life,
says
Adam.
Carla needs to get herself some bug spray for all the bugs that bug you, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know anything
Trusted
about
Flagger again with a $10 super chat says whether or not Yahtzees say critical race theory is anti-white has zero bearing on whether or not it is. She's claiming the source of the claim discredits it. Again, she's just afraid of being associated with them.
You're absolutely right that if I will be hated by one group on the internet, I am perfectly happy with being hated by white identitarians. 100%. Absolutely. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. Raisin with a $10 super chat says this is a useless conversation. Carlin won't stop with the Mott and Bailey fallacies. I do not think this was a useless conversation. I think that it's helping people understand that it is racist. Critical race theory is just simply racist. I get it. I think it targets white people and makes them the bad guys, and I think it's a shame. But
I mean,
I get that it's a full on racist thing.
I think it's a shame that people who claim to care about defeating this have taken out, frankly, one of the more effective people at fighting it. Because I am one of the more effective people out there.
What do you mean take you out of this situation?
I was completely undermined by this entire thing. Every single time we have
By
chats
who?
like this, all of this. Because the same people that are doing these super chats, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and again, I want to emphasize, I hope we changed your mind at some point.
But you just said you don't care. So how do you care and then not care?
I care when it comes to me being effective. Because like you can't say
How
that you
do
care
any
about
of these
defeating
people?
it,
How
and
does
then
any of these people make any difference on how you're effective?
you know
If you don't care about the people that are outside of your bubble,
Adam,
what does it matter?
this whole thing completely undermined my like the amounts of attacks that I endured, the amounts of smears from people on the right that I endured from all of this has completely undermined my effectiveness.
But we're here right now. You're
Well,
talking
yeah,
about these super chats.
I mean honestly, all of this thing, all of these people have just made me want to retreat back into my little locals community where I have people that actually understand what I'm saying, that are listening, because it makes me grossly ineffective every single time I try to do something, and I have people saying you're anti-white, it's anti-white, it's anti-white, it's anti-white. And again, if I've changed your mind in the course of this discussion, I genuinely hope that's true. But if you are actively attacking me and trying to undermine the work that I'm trying to do, you are supporting critical race theory. And again, that really, really pisses me off.
I think you need to stop letting it piss you off so much, because there will always be people out there that think that.
Well,
Period.
and that's fine, but I'm going to be blocking those people, and I want them as far away from me as
You can do
absolutely
that. That's
possible.
fine.
And
I
I'm
mean,
not going to feel
you're
sorry
on a
for it,
you're
you
on my
know?
platform though, and it's like you kind of knew that this was going to happen. There's going to
Oh,
be
of course
people
I
here
knew it was
that
going to
don't agree
happen.
with you.
Yeah,
So,
of course. And
so
I'm
why do you
gonna
let
continue
it get you so upset? Like, who
because
cares? You
it
said it just earlier that you just don't care
because
about
it
these people anymore.
completely undermines what I and other people are trying to do. It completely undermines it.
I don't think it completely does it. Saying it
I
completely.
disagree. I disagree.
Then why are you still doing it if it's been undermined?
I'm doing it in a much more controlled way than I was before, and frankly,
So you're not completely.
I'm not as effective as I was before. I'm not. And it's all because of this. It's all because of people who are refusing to listen,
Hmm.
refusing to consider another perspective, and it infuriates me because and frankly are out there lying about me to the point where like it actually does impact my ability to do this stuff.
I
And you
mean,
know what?
that's
Like
the
people have to
internet.
take
The people will always do that, no matter what.
well, but
There's
those
people out
people
there that
but
don't
those
like what I'm
people
talking about.
but those people are claiming to be against critical race theory. Well, guess what? You're aiding and abetting the enemy. Congratulations. You're making it harder for all of us.
Okay. Mossy says anti-white is code for anti-independent thought. Critical race theory
No.
hates individualism because it's simply Marxism. What, you said no?
Anti-white is not code for anti-independent thought. I disagree.
Okay. Chet Chisholm says, I think we can all agree that critical race theory is super lame, and you both are totally dope. May I also recommend the song Don't Call Me White by NFX?
Hmm.
I used to listen to NFX. You like them?
I haven't listened to them in years.
Or No Effects, actually. There's an O there. I didn't notice that. Thank you, Chet, though. I appreciate that. See, there's still people out there that think we're both awesome.
Well,
Joe Biden's denture says two things can be true at once, like critical race theory being anti-white and racism at the same time. Tim Pool knows critical race theory is anti-white.
Tim Pool likes to get clicks on his content so he can make money. I'll say it. I don't care anymore.
Moving on.
I've been broken.
Anyway, that was no lies detected.
That's gonna get clipped.
Bozique says Karlyn doesn't get that while critical race theory is racist, generally the anti-white aspect of critical race rhetoric can lead to broad discrimination against whites. I think I've seen it though. I have videos of people attacking white people just because they're white.
And I can point, and for every single thing that people say it's anti-white for, I can give you another example of how it's anti a person of color or black people or Hispanic people or like it's racist against everyone. Okay. Everyone. I mean, Larry Elder is not white.
They're not wrong though. They're the boogeyman. They're making everyone that isn't white that's succumbing to this hate white people.
They're also no.
But I agree. Yeah, I'm seeing it. What?
They're making them hate anyone who doesn't agree with critical race theory. Larry Elder isn't white.
Okay.
He's not white. They're specifically using critical race theory to make people hate Larry Elder.
I'm not talking about the Larry Elder situation. I'm talking about the white people that are getting hit.
Because again, I can give you an example of it happening to a non-white person for every single example you give it of happening to a white person. It is racist against everyone. No form of racism is more important than any other form.
That's what I said before when you said two things can be true at once. Like I said, I'm gonna remember that you said that.
All lives matter. That includes black lives. Critical race theory is racist. That includes white people.
I get it. It's all Hornet's Nest said stop kicking me. Well, if you were kicked from chat, it's because you deserved it. David with a $10 super chat said, Adam, Karlyn, be nice, take a breath. Both, I like both of y'all. Yeah. There was a few. There was a right. Like, I mean, we happen to have different viewpoints on this, and that's okay. I think civil discourse is something that is absolutely imperative in this world. K Wimsat with a $5 super chat didn't say anything, but thank you very much. Joe Biden Stencher says Tucker Carlson calls critical race theory anti-white. Is he racist?
I was infuriated when Tucker Carlson did that. I think Tucker Carlson was given absolutely horrible advice, and I hope Tucker Carlson never does it again because
is he
did
racist?
I think that he does not understand what he's doing, and he was given horrible advice, and I haven't heard him do it recently.
Okay.
And I think there's reasons for that.
So is that a no?
When was the last time Tucker Carlson said that?
Is that a no though? When he said that,
if you say critical race theory is anti-white, that is a racist statement. When was the last time Tucker Carlson did that? Because Tucker Carlson started behaving like a responsible adult and
critical
controlling
race
his
theory
language.
is anti-white.
It's not. It's racist.
It is racist.
It's racist.
Yeah. I think
just because you can, just because then Adam, if you've ever said all lives matter as opposed to Black Lives Matter, then
I say both.
By pure consistency,
both things can be true at once.
Critical race theory. Well, and that's your choice. Just because you can say something doesn't mean you should. And there is no inherent value. There is nothing gained. There is only loss. There is only victories handed. If you want the left to win, keep saying critical race theory is anti-white. You're going to hand the woke left the win that they want.
I'm not going to focus on that.
Congratulations.
That's not my focus. I think it is absolutely racist, and that's what whenever we are talking about, every single time you've been on my show, we've talked about critical race theory way too much. I can only imagine how much you have dealt with it over me, because pretty much I talk about when you come on because I know how much you're in that world.
Right.
When have we ever been focused on it being anti-white? Not any of the times. Right. So me thinking that it's anti-white, which I do think that, that is not my sole focus when I talk about critical race theory. I'm not giving them a win, because when I'm arguing with people about critical race theory, my arguments are not like it's anti-white. It's racist.
Because you know what they can do? They can, if you say critical race theory is anti-white, what they can do is they can clip that out of context and make you look like something that you don't want to look like, and then they use it to their advantage. Again,
all of my shows are live and online. Like you can look at any of these things.
That's fine. I'm not just talking about you though. I'm talking about everyone that uses this language, because every single time, this is how I think of it. Every single time this language is used, we are handing the left an opportunity to clip it out of context and make someone look like an actual racist. And that's what they do. They already have a 40-year head start.
They're going to do that. They could do that on anything. They could do that.
Why are we handing them wins? Why it's like walking people in a baseball game over and over again. Like, why are you handing them bases? Like, why are you doing that? It makes no sense. We are already far enough behind. We do not need to be handing out unnecessary wins when it could just be a simple matter of saying critical race theory is racist and not anti-white. Because then if they clip that, then you're saying something that's actually good. Critical race theory is racist. I'm against racism. Therefore, I'm against critical race theory. That's a good thing. That is a good message.
Critical race theory is racist. Period. Yeah. I agree. Yep. And it chooses to make white people the boogeymen.
And it says that black people are powerless and have no agency.
That's also racist. Yeah.
Incredibly racist.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. We got a lot. I'm just gonna read a bunch of these because it's a lot of the same stuff. I'm seeing a lot of these super chats, and I'm just gonna, because we can sit here and reiterate all the stuff that we've already talked about, and I feel like that's what it will become. So I'm just gonna read them all out. I'm glad you're
making money off people hating me so much. I'll say that.
This isn't all hate. And these are all people that are wanting to be in a civil discussion as well. You know, it's like they have their own viewpoints on it. And, you know, it's like, again, you're over there. Not everyone is there, Karlyn. You know, you have to understand that.
And I'm not trying to appeal to everyone. I'm trying to appeal to people that are helping me do what I want to do.
Well, then stop trying to appeal to them, because it feels like when I read this,
I'm literally blocking them.
But you're reacting to these super chats as if you have to stand up and defend it.
Because
don't stop doing that.
It's really frustrating.
You said you don't care. Well, practice what you preach. If you really don't care, then it shouldn't matter what any of these people think about their opinion on what it is or it isn't. Right?
I'm not necessarily speaking to them, Adam. I'm speaking to people watching.
Okay. I mean, if the people were
here, if I can't convince people who don't want to be
people have been watching,
you know,
they are already in tune with what you've said. Like, we had a long discussion about. You would hope so, right? And if not, then it's too late for you, right? I mean, or it's too late for them, or whatever, right? So,
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah.
all right, good. All right, well, that's going to make getting through the rest of these super chats a lot easier.
All right.
Let's see here. Mr. Reborn with a 20 Dutch kroner, anti-white, anti-Western, anti-capitalist, etc., etc. I'll butter your muffin. Muffin says, does racism exist because people say so? And if so, why animals don't fight over race? I think humans have reached a different stage in evolution where we are aware of time, aware of the differences between everything, not necessarily race, but we are like, although I don't know if there's an animal because we don't communicate with them, so I feel like that's a bigger question. I think animals are living in a more base reality, and I think it's because they don't worry about time. Time really does affect us differently. We're worried about the future, we're worried about the past, we're worried about things that have affected us instead of rooting our entire life in instincts. And animals, that's what they do. So that's a different conversation. Hydro says, what kind of racist is critical race theory? It's anti-white racist. You can color it in any way to protect person of color, but it's still anti-white. Hydro, her whole point is it is also anti-black. It is also racist as well towards everyone. Sean Morris says, critical race theorists talk about Asians and whites like Hitler spoke about the Jews in Mein Kampf. I never read that. I probably won't ever read it, but
Actually,
I don't know anything about it.
Critical race theory actually likes Asians when it's convenient for them to like them.
Well,
Critical
race theory likes all races that like critical race theory.
Everyone has forgotten the Stop Asian Hate campaign.
Yeah, that's kind of how quickly that faded away, right?
Exactly.
Hydro says, do you want to protect people of color that much? Then
that's a little racist, dude.
Hold on. That even when it's anti-white and you still make it about people of color and how they are the victims, I mean,
it's racist. Sorry, that's racist.
But it's all racist, right? I mean,
why shouldn't I care about?
Hold on, Hydro. I want to just clarify something. She's not saying that black people are the victims. She's saying that's what critical race theory is teaching. So I want to clarify that. That is not something that Karlyn thinks. I hope that's not what you think, because that is not the case.
Well, also, why wouldn't I care about protecting people of color just because I'm white? Why wouldn't I care? Why wouldn't I care about people of color being like? And I frankly hate that term, but that's their term, so I'll use it. Like, why wouldn't I care about children being taught that they can't be successful in life when their brain is at its most like formidable?
Right.
Like, of course I care about that. I'm a psychologist.
Robert Shaw says, saying all white people are evil and racist is like saying all Islamic people are terrorists. Google censors, so I had to misspell those words. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, literally anyone has the capability for being evil, and anyone could be a good person. It's about your heart and your actions and your character. Josh says, it's a long name that's mixed together. I can't really see it, but it says, Josh, Karlyn blocked me for asking for her clarification on her stance.
Nope. You weren't blocked for that. I guarantee he wasn't blocked for that.
Do you know the person, or you just stated?
No, but I know I've never blocked someone for asking for clarification on a stance.
Okay. So was it like, was it a snazzy ask? Would you like a snarky? I mean, more.
A lot of people that have reached out to me think they're blocked for one reason, but that's not why they got blocked.
Okay.
Or they claim they were blocked for one reason, and that's not why.
Quesadilla says, Karlyn interrupts people more often than the Beanie Baby. I didn't think that was possible. The Beanie Baby. Sorry, there's multiple things going on here. That's why I don't care for these remote conversations. Okay. It's not for everybody. Phil says, it's not about racism. That's the distraction. It's about control.
Aha, yes.
$10 super chat from One Last Idiot says, sorry, downvoting this stream due to not listening ranting Karlyn, who can't shut up to listen to Adam's points. It's all about her points and talks over Adam. I mean, that's fine. It's my show. I could have spoken up if I wanted to. Adam's ponytail says Adam didn't even care enough to give me a funeral. It's true. I let it go, but I think it's for the best. I love having short hair now. Robert Shaw says, "What's the best meat for a burrito?" Beans, black beans. Of course, I'm vegan.
I don't know. I've been an Impossible Burger in like burrito lately.
They're not bad. They're really salty. I'm not the biggest fan of Impossible Burgers, but yeah, I would say portobello mushrooms actually as like the meat of the burrito. I love portobello. I love mushrooms though in general. Phil says racism is is the distraction. Control is what they're after. Yep, exactly.
Yes.
Let's see. Emperor Robert Shaw says, "Who's better?" This is an interesting question. Bezos or Elon? I mean, it's
Elon.
I actually didn't see Elon. I just thought I saw Bezos and I'm like, oh, this will be good. But it's Elon, obviously.
Say this like the easiest question in the world.
Dude, Elon Musk is giving internet to everyone, and there was someone asked him online, well, how do we regulate it? Like, how do we regulate the internet? And his response was, you shake your fist at the sky. And it was just like, oh, Elon Musk coming in hot.
Elon Musk doesn't care about appealing to everyone either, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. Hydro is definitely one of the more spicy people in my chat. Karlyn, do you think you're superior and you have to defend people of color, even if it's an attack on white people?
That's Hydro, racist.
Hold on. Again, Hydro, you're missing the point. You're thinking that her explaining what critical race theory is how she feels. Like that's like if you're messing that up, you completely missed the main points of both of us in this whole conversation. So
I don't think that's what he's saying, but I'll defer to you. Yours is nicer.
I'm gonna go with that because I am an optimist and I tend to be nice. Mao says, Dr. B may know some chats, but this is the best chat. It's true. It's the best chat.
All right.
But it's not for everyone, I guess.
I like the nice people that listen.
Mr. Knox says, I agree. It used to be critical theory, but then add in words to suit their grasp for power, like critical race theory, what's CGT? What's the G?
Gender. I think
critical
it's probably gender.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Studies,
it's all dangerous. Agreed, Mr. Knox. The Brooklyn Way with a $10 super chat says, critical race theory is the linguistic framing George Lakoff tried to warn us about. She is talking about the ideology. It is a linguistically framed gaslight aimed to disrupt. Critical race theory. Yeah, it's trying to disrupt us all, and it's working. That's her point.
Agreed.
Right? That's her point. It's disrupting us. We are not focusing on the people that are pushing this.
For everyone that's coming after me and has come at me over the past several months, you are focusing on the wrong enemy. Every time you fight me, you are not fighting who the real enemy is.
Hydro says, confessions through projections. Dude, you are clearly missing the point, dude. And a total lack of self-awareness that would be funny if it weren't so sad. From Viva. Yeah, okay, sure. Robert Shaw says, I like my level 7 white privilege cards, don't you? I don't feel any more privileged than anyone else. I work really hard for the things that I have earned in my life, and I may have gotten lucky because I know specific people that have helped give me a platform in my past. But does it have anything to do with me being white? No, I don't think so. I think it's about working hard. I think anyone can get that. Johnny says Karlyn should argue with Tim. Space-time would collapse.
That's never gonna happen.
Would you go on that show if you were asked?
No.
No, you wouldn't?
No.
Okay. What's going on with you two? There's some beef going on there.
I think the whole situation is incredibly toxic. I think he is surrounded by bad people. I think he's very smart. Like, don't get me wrong, I think he's very smart, but I ain't going near that house, dude. No way, no how. The only way I would even consider it is if I got to smudge that entire studio, because I ain't going in there with the energy that's been in there. No.
No comment. Let's see. Jake Dog says, Dr. Karlyn, what kind of dog is your favorite? Is it an American Bulldog?
I do actually really like American Bulldogs. I kind of wish I had one, but I do have a Chihuahua and a Chiweenie. So
we have two dogs. A Chiweenie. I've seen you the picture you posted on the National Dog Day,
Yes.
or was it just like in
Like
solidarity?
like the paw
I,
thing, like
yeah,
no
yeah,
paw
yeah,
left behind. Yeah, those are
yeah.
my
The
2
nose pot.
dogs.
Yeah, that was cute. I only saw one. I didn't. I
Oh,
only
there
thought.
are 2 dogs in that picture. One was looking very proper. He was like most important dog in the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you post more than one picture? Have you
Not for
posted a
that.
picture of your dogs before?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I posted singular pictures of the dogs too.
Maybe I'm just seeing that.
Yeah.
Someone said in chat, Karlyn versus Tim would be hilarious. I'm
I'd
inclined
pick
to agree
Tim's.
with that.
You know what? I would.
No, you wouldn't
I
physically.
understand. I understand way more about critical race theory than Tim. That's gonna get
Well,
clipped.
I don't watch a lot of. I don't watch any of that show, but I did see clips of the him versus Vosh, and where Vosh was trying to get him to explain what it was.
Mhm.
Because clips float around on Twitter, So
They do.
Robert Shaw says, "Yes, I effed up. My own teachings were very wrong. My goodness, but I've revised and come up with Marxism way better. Oh, excuse me, Marxism. Marxism is way better. Yes, because the Marx in chat. I haven't seen Mark G, but it's it happens. Patrice says, critical race theory is making armies of us. Don't be a tool of our destruction. Yes, unite. We gotta unite. We gotta remember that we need. They want us divided, and we gotta
Mhm.
stop being divided. Um, let's see. Quesadilla says, I'm a really angry quesadilla after listening to Karlyn rant, and that's your right to be. That's fine. Mr. Caseman, thank you for that little fox. It's cute. A super sticker. Sejong says, whiteness equals colonizer. That's where they got it. Okay.
Kinda.
Alpha Zero Omega says, next big debate, we might need to assign a couple more moderators. Rip Montana Horseman. Montana Horseman, thank you so much. I don't know what you've been dealing with. I haven't been focusing on chat. I've been, I try to, whenever I have a guest on, I try to give them my 100%. And I don't know if there was some stuff going on. I do have it that you can't comment unless you're a subscriber, so it does keep a little bit of people at bay.
I should turn
I
that on.
it I think it helps a lot against bots. I haven't actually seen bots since I've done that, like the bots that spam,
Mhm.
because I don't think that the bot is set to like subscribe and then be able wait because you got to wait a certain amount of time, and you
Right.
could set it 1 minute, 5 minutes, or maybe more. I'm not sure exactly. I just do 1 minute, but it's definitely good. Let's see. Patrice says Biden has formed a whole farce to deal with white identitarians. Wake TF up.
Well, you know what's funny
Has he?
though?
I don't know.
Well,
What is this about?
you know what's funny is they're not remotely interested in the actual problem. It's just a farce to make it look like they're doing something. What they mean by white identitarians is like Trump supporters. That's
Mhm.
not what I mean. We don't have the same enemy on that one. That's not what I mean.
Wait, what do you mean, like by like Trump
So,
supporters? Like who they think
you know what's
white
funny?
identitarians are,
Well,
or are you just saying that they think that all Trump supporters are white
so
identitarians?
there's a difference between the white identitarians that I'm
Because that's
talking
racist.
about and who the Biden administration is targeting with all of their task force. They're targeting like Trump supporters.
Right.
That's not who I'm talking. I'm talking about really, really, really bad people. But you know what's funny is I was so freaked out by some of the stuff I found out that I actually did reach out to like mainstream media and I was
Okay.
like, you guys got to cover this. I was sure they were going to cover it and they didn't. They refused to report on the really bad people. Why? Because that's going to that's going to distract from who their enemy is, who are Republicans, Trump supporters, things like that. That's who they're
Yeah.
focused on.
Yeah. They want to demonize anyone that isn't succumbing to the ways that they want. Yeah.
Yeah,
Newsflash, Biden. Not all Trump supporters are white. There is a
for
very
real.
broad um, assortment of Trump supporters because yeah, you're not the almighty Democrat are the way.
Biden
Anyway,
is
that's
learning
a
now.
whole nother conversation. No, they still worship him, dude. They still somehow think that he is doing a fantastic job, which is just
His
blows me away.
approval rating is like plummeting, though, isn't it?
It is plummeting, yeah, but that's because um I, people are slowly waking up, but like the people who are shills are
Mhm.
speaking louder and louder. Look at Alyssa Milano. Look at Brooklyn Dad Defiant. I think that's his name, Brooklyn
Wow.
Defiant. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
These Jeff reply
You
guy.
need to get off of Twitter.
I
That's
need
the
to get off
problem.
Twitter.
We need to get off Twitter. There's a real world out there, Adam, and it's beautiful.
Girl, I don't live on Twitter. Are you serious? Like, I live in this amazing place. I've been gardening. I've been trimming my path to the forest. Like, I'm living my life here. It's amazing. I mean, I still, I poke my head in because I have to be aware of what's happening for my show. But
I understand. I'm just saying that like those guys on Twitter, like they're not people need to
trust me,
exist
I
in real
know.
life.
I know this, but the problem is the establishment listens to those people. The screeching people on the line are like the ones that are making the difference, because for some reason the companies think that that's what people want. That this is like, I know that the Twitter percentage is tiny compared to like most Americans, most humans probably. So anyway. The Brooklyn Way with a $10 super chat says, absolute linguistic frame to create division is part of the destabilization. Check out George Lakoff's video, Moral Politics. It is ideological gaslight and plus coercive control through distortion of language. I think I should watch that. Someone else mentioned George Lakoff. I've actually never heard of that person before. Let's mark that down. And finally, I'm to the regular super chats.
Yeah.
Back to chat. So whenever I'm on StreamYard, because whenever I do these interviews over the internet, I do StreamYard, and YouTube will, like, the studio page, right, will delete all the super chats when I first go click over there.
Oh, that's all the super chats that were even before we started?
No.
Oh God, I was about to freak
It's a thing with StreamYard. It's like, until I finally clicked over. So now we're about where we ended our conversation.
Okay. I was
when
about
I
to
was
text my
getting ready. You can, hey, by the way, I went 3 hours yesterday with Gothix, and I was like, hey, you can bounce out of here. And she didn't stay the whole time. So if you need to leave,
no, I don't need to leave. I was just thinking I should text Victor and have him bring me a beer or something. But I'm cool. We can keep
go get
going.
a beer. Yeah, you want a beer?
Good.
It's fine.
No, I got some water. I'm good.
Okay, all right, right on. Let's see. Robert Shaw says Biden disagrees with everyone matters. Yeah, probably, because he's a frail old man that doesn't even know what he's supposed to believe. Can I talk, Nancy? No, we don't want him talking.
Can I actually ask a question of the chat, Adam? Like,
sure.
like I am actually genuinely curious if this conversation changed anyone's mind or if it made them look at the situation differently. Because where I'm at right now, and again, like my goal is to create more people like me to fight critical race theory. Like that's what I'm highly focused on. If these are productive conversations to have, I'm open to having them. My assessment to this point has been that these weren't particularly productive conversations to have. So if this has been productive for people, it would be great if they could let us know.
Okay. Yep.
And I can't see the chat, so I'm generally asking.
Let's see. Nope. A lot of people are saying no.
And this is why I don't have these conversations, because people don't
listen. But that's
fine.
Like, look. But that's okay. I mean, I see there's still a couple people that said, yeah, it did. There are others that are saying, so it's like, and there's going to be a lot of people that are like, no. A lot of people say that you came to your point. At first, it felt a little because it's a lot to like try to really narrow in, and it felt like you kind of. Well, of course, and that's something that a lot of people, like, again, you're already so far ahead. And not everyone knows all the stuff that you've experienced and researched and seen and understood. So,
but again, like, and I just want to point this out, like the fact that we spent an hour and a half explaining it, walking people through it, reiterating it. If people don't want to have an open mind, there's nothing I can do. And if people have a question about why I block people, it's because I can't have that stuff in my feed when I'm trying to do my job every day. So I'm sorry.
You're asking for it again, dude. You're doing it again. Dude.
Oh, I don't really care.
You just did it. You
are. Oh, I don't care.
You do care.
No, I don't.
You do care.
No, I don't. I invite it to the point.
You do.
No, I will absolutely invite it to the point where it allows me to identify people who are not on the same team, and it's fine. It's fine.
There's still people in chat that are saying yes, that they did learn something. So
well, I hope that's true.
What do you mean? You hope that it's true? You don't care. Either you care or you don't care.
No, I absolutely care.
Did your opinion on my
on.
chat suddenly change to these people didn't learn anything? Because there's a lot of people that did learn stuff.
Well, but what you told me, I'm not
I
seeing the
said
chat
there's a
at it.
lot of nopes. I'm saying
Yeah.
I was
That's exactly so
lives are coming
that's what
through.
I'm going off of is
There's a
you
lot of
telling
nopes.
me that there are a lot of people saying no, and that's a perfect example of why I just don't engage in this. It's a perfect example. It's a,
As you engage in it. I mean, I hope you see that, right? That's what I'm.
I am engaging in this conversation with you. But
All right,
if
we have
but
a timestamp here, just letting you know. Francisco, this super chat, he does it every single day. Shout out to Francisco. 4:20 Pacific time.
Oh.
So this was an hour and 18 minutes ago.
Oh,
The
good.
super chat. So we have now an hour and
Cheers,
18 minutes of super
Francisco.
chats to get through. He says Bong lives matter. Okay. Good to know. Sejong says the issue of telling racists that they're now simply racist is that they no longer care if you call them racist. The Boolean argument is a non-argument. But also at the same time, Sejong, you got to understand, it's like they wouldn't care if like either way. I mean, it's like the anti-white side of critical race theory is racist. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying, but I mean, I also understand where Karlyn's coming from. Robert Shaw says you have a right to speak and a right to ignore. Agreed. Robert Shaw says, which is better to watch, golf or tennis? What do you think?
Neither.
You got to pick one. If you had to choose.
I don't want to pick one. I would
Do
rather
it.
knit.
You got to pick one.
Tennis, I guess.
You could knit while watching tennis. All right. I prefer golf because I actually I play both, but I think I don't know. I like golf. It's relaxing. I like golfing and I enjoy watching golf. Sejong says the way to overcome critical race theory is to tell people what it is, why people deep down feel like they hate it, and then how to avoid it, like the black guy walking down the other side of the street. With a $10 super chat. Thank you, Sejong. Honestly, that's what I feel Karlyn's doing. She's literally saying, this is what critical race theory is. It is simply racist.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are so focused on a specific part of it and are angry because you're not acknowledging that
I have said that
it is racist. Period.
I have said, and those people are accepting the rules that the left has set, and I'm not playing that game. I have said ad nauseum since we started this that critical race theory is racist, includes white people. If people can't wrap their heads around that, that's we're not on the same team. Sorry.
It's racist. Robert Shaw says anti-white is still racism, but I understand the point. Well, yeah, it's still racism. Sejong says, look, Sammy Davis Jr. and the whole Rat Pack did more to shatter racism in the U.S. than any academic pursuit or activist for or against race relations. I feel like people don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. The left doesn't want people that that show that side of things. Like, I mean, Larry Elder, for example, we've talked about him a couple times. The LA Times called him the white face or the black face of white supremacy. And it's like, when in reality, like if you listen to Larry Elder and you like actually hear him speak about issues, he's a stand-up guy. He's a great minded thing. Although I have heard some rumors about some things he said in the early 2000s that I wouldn't agree with.
I can tell you some things about Larry Elder.
I haven't corroborated it yet, but from what I know about Larry Elder, I don't know. Do you like Larry Elder, or do you know things that make you not like him?
I know. Okay, so I can only judge people based on my direct experiences with them at this point. Okay. I have not had good direct experiences with Larry Elder. That said, I know that a lot of people have. I think, of all the people running for governor of California, it looks like he's in the lead. I think that he'd be better than what's there. But I don't I don't live in California, so I don't have to worry about it.
Right. Speaking of people that live in California, Darth Call comes in hot, says, well done having a discussion, you two. Well done. Y'all keep your cools and facilitated dialogue. Cheers. There we go. Right. So it's honestly, Karlyn, if one person woke up a little bit from this, I think it's a win. All right. I don't care about the
I
people that
hope
didn't,
so.
whatever it is, you know, stop saying that. That's not,
Well,
be a little
because
optimistic.
you know,
Somebody out there might have been enlightened by this episode. Good. Done. Period. Awesome.
okay.
Are you shaking your head no, though?
Because it's really, really frustrating. It
I
just
don't
is.
understand why you get so frustrated with it. If you don't care, you know?
I care about winning.
I know.
I
I
care
understand.
very deeply about winning. Oh god, I'm
Clearly.
gonna cry.
Take a
Um,
deep breath. Take a deep breath. We don't have to go there. Look, Karlyn, your
no, no,
passion
no,
for
no, no, no.
this
But
is
listen.
undeniable.
But let me finish. When
Mhm.
people who should be on the same team
Yeah,
are just actively working against winning, I throw my hands up and I say, "What am I even doing?"
I understand that. I get it. Jonathan Duger says the problem with critical theory is it takes self accountability and responsibility away from the people and puts it on other people. That is, you agree with
True.
that? Yeah,
Yes.
and I mean, accountability and responsibility is like what happened to that. I was talking, I was tweeting the other day about how we're children. Like I say we because I'm in society and I am guilty of this myself. I I feel like I became an adult last year at 37. You know, I'm almost 38.
You
Um,
become an adult when you own a house.
no,
I'm kidding.
the house thing came this year, but last year I feel like I was like I'm gonna be a part of society. I'm gonna recognize that what I do has real world impact on other people and take responsibility for the things that I'm doing. And it's like, and I feel like that's everyone. Everyone needs to do that. And when you finally do that and start paying attention and doing like it's part of being red pilled is part of that too. And it's like it's part of it. It's not all of it, but you know, I think that's part of growing up. And we have a problem in society that people don't want to grow up. They don't want to have responsibilities. They want to have it easy and lazy and like Marxism and socialism or communism really is like they think that it's this utopia where they're just going to live without responsibilities and they're so wrong because they're going to be forced to do all the things that to work and to do things that they don't want to do but they don't have a choice because that's what communism. Oh, you're going to go work the fields today, you're going to be breaking rocks to, you know, tomorrow you're going to be, you know, doing what we tell you to do, or and you don't have a choice because that's, I mean, it's communism. There's a reason millions and millions of people have died. Well, it's not real communism. Get out of there with this because I mean that's a whole other thing. But
James Lindsay says
you see
that
what I mean though.
yeah, James Lindsay says that one of the cures for the woke is responsibility and accountability. And the example that he gives is like
Agreed.
what woke organizations should do when your employees come forward and say, you should do this woke training and make sure you're hiring like 60% more black people or whatever demand they make. What James Lindsay says to do is to put it back on them and to give them responsibility and accountability. So if they come and say you should find a black person for this role, okay, now it's your job to go and find the best black person for that role. That is 100% your job. And if you don't do it in 3 months, you're fired. And what he says
For
is
your
like,
own job. All right,
yeah,
you
well,
gotta quit.
and
Find someone to replace it.
well, and what Lindsay says, and he gives this advice to organizations, is that
Okay.
like every single time that that a CEO has said that to an employee, you go do this. If you don't, you're fired. Which gives them both responsibility in terms of finding someone, and then accountability if they don't. Right, the person just ends up quitting anyway because they don't want responsibility or accountability. So that's
Of
like the
course.
anecdote to the woke.
Sneaky. Robert Shaw
Yeah,
says, which is hotter, glasses or no glasses? I'm
depends on the
listening, chat.
glasses.
Well, I mean, I've been wearing glasses my entire YouTube career, and I've switched now to wearing contacts. I've had contact. Well, I cut my hair, and I was like, I'm just gonna wear contacts now.
You look more
I just
modelly now, Adam.
do I. Okay. Thank you. I guess you know I feel like ever since I cut my hair and I you know and well, I just recently trimmed the beard, but it feels like I'm a little more presentable instead of just
Mhm.
a disheveled mess with hair that I don't care about that I just put in a bun and glasses, and it just feels like I'm a little more. I have to present myself a little better, but I am curious. No glasses, no peace. Some chat's not actually answering the question, but that's fine. It's more for us. Robert Shaw says, "Does a tomato belong in a fruit salad?"
No.
No. Oh, is that a thing?
But it does belong on a sandwich.
Xerix says sent messages short on money. Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe in chat. Is that what I missed him? Chat was flying by today. Rob Shaw says shout out to YouTube channel Teacher Eddie. I don't know that one, but okay. Francisco with a $10 super chat says the French intellectuals of the revolution led to the continual transmutation of the central premise of bringing down society. That's why every iteration of socialist theory has brought down society. Interesting. I don't know too much about the French Revolution. Robert Shaw says, which is better, big boobas or small boobas? I think that is just a preference thing, right? I'm just going to move on, though.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a lesbian, and so I don't have an opinion on this.
Okay. Well, I mean, I gave an opinion on whether
Well,
Ryan
probably
Reynolds
small,
or
like, just from, like, my perspective, probably small
Henry
because they're
Cavill.
not as, like, they're not as troublesome to, like, navigate and all this stuff, but, like...
Okay. Geoffrey says, the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or his stature, because I have rejected him. Humans do not see what the Lord sees, for humans see what is visible, and the Lord sees the heart. I don't know what that quote that is, for, or like what would you say Bible verse that is, but it sounds like kind of like the weight of the heart from Egyptians, and the heart is the character is really what makes a person. No Jab Crow says, Karlyn, were the Nazis anti-Semitic?
I'm not answering that question. That is an incredibly... What they're going to do is
That's
call
a
me a
trap.
Jew. That's
a
a trap.
trap.
They're gonna call me a Jew. Yeah,
That's
what
a
that
trap.
is. Yeah,
that's a trap. I don't even
Anti-Semite.
know what this is. It is a bunch of letters. It says, I know I'm coming in late, but I know historically, Karlyn hasn't mentioned the laws have passed that specifically say white people can't do something others can. That's racist. That's her whole point. I think she's made it clear. Like, that's racist. Mr. Knox says the main thin pole need to get out of this, and two people van have a clash of opinions and still be friends and be civil. We need more of this. I don't know what that first word is, but I get the sentiment, and I agree completely. People need to be able to have these conversations, which is why I'm sad that man, I'm not going to say it. Pete says, people please explain how a company putting out info saying be less white is racist towards anyone but white people?
You're taking one example in the midst of thousands of other examples. You're cherry picking an example.
I mean, it's a good point, though.
Yeah, we've already covered it.
That's true. We did talk about this.
You're the one who told me not to reiterate every question, Adam.
I mean,
I'm following the rules.
I said it was my show, and I dictate how it goes, and then I literally just asked you about it.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, well, you don't want to go over it again. It's fine. Awesome Human says critical race theory is a Eurocentric viewpoint that assumes whites are superior and minorities are unable to feel racially superior.
It actually assumes that whites are the norm. It says the whites are the norm or the default, and everyone else is abnormal, or
Well, that's not what racism. The definition of racism is, like what you read earlier.
But again, they're not using that definition of racism. They created their own mystical definition of racism that can change anytime they want it to.
I thought you said that they do think that whites are superior. That's what they were claiming.
No. They say that whites hold the power. It's not really the same.
Right. That is what you said. You said they're the ones who are in with the power, the control.
Yeah, but mostly what they talk about in these trainings is like whites are the norm and everyone else is outside the norm, which is racist in and of itself. Like, I don't think that whites are the norm, so I think that's racist.
Lancer says a leftist preacher told me I will pay for all the people that died for COVID. Wow. I told her if I survive the camps, I'll testify against her. My goodness, that is horrendous that someone would say that to you. I mean, this is a whole different thing, but my goodness, I mean, that's the discussion, which kind of goes hand in hand because it's all about division. It's about dividing us. And right now, they've got so many different battlefronts, and they're winning on a lot of them. And as Karlyn is clearly trying to do, is fight the real enemy and not each other. And I think we need to focus on that. I don't know how you even say your name. I'll just do H Love. I don't. You have. It's just a bunch of letters in a row with a $10 super chat. Says, why is it okay for every other race is allowed to be proud of their race, but not whites? If you call a black person white as a derogatory, it's against Caucasians. That is a
No.
good. I mean, you can't be proud to be white. That is very faux pas, not PC. It's like you can't say that. That is a true statement though. People are. I mean, it's like you could be proud to be any race except white. That's kind of
What are you
messed up.
proud of? What, like, whites have never been oppressed in this country. I'm
Well,
sorry. Like,
my
whites do
response.
not have a
I
long history of
hold on.
being
I
oppressed in this
actually had an
country.
argument with Hydro about this, who's talked about it. Was like, I think it was about White History Month. He was like, "Hey, happy White History Month," and I'm like, I don't need that. It's not like
Yeah.
Black history is American history. Like, the Black History Month that they teach, about American history. It's like it is American history. It's not Black history. It's what America has gone through together. So like I don't need a White History Month because I don't think about being white. It's not a part of my like identity. Like people might make it, but that's not who I am. That's not what I do. I don't think that way. And we should all stop thinking that way.
My
So
suggestion for people is that they need to base their identity and their pride around things that they can actually control. And your race is not something that you can actually control.
I love that. I love that. We have to do that. I mean, look at Martin Luther King. That is literally his speech. And how dare anyone who is all about critical race theory even mention his name? They've been pushing um, Martin Luther King as if like they like worship the man, but it's like if you listen to his speech, he said, "I have a dream that my children will be judged not on the color of their skin, but on the characteristics of who they are as people." And it's like it is insulting to the man, his legacy, that these people are pushing critical race theory because it's just crazy racist. Anyway, Paul R says, yes, Adam and Larry Elder is a black white supremacist. Now spin the UFO and roll a 13. Finally, we got a dice roll. Heyo. You want to take a stab at it?
What's the range
1 through
again?
20. 1 through 20.
18.
It is not 18, but chat, you guys know the deal. I have rolled the dice. Good luck. Have fun.
Do you still have the UFO?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't
It'll
know.
be back. I'm gonna build.
Okay.
I'm gonna build a full studio, and it's coming. All right, I got the numbers rolling in. I'm just gonna watch these numbers. All right. Good luck, everybody. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Let's see. Let's see. All right, no one's won yet. All right, no one's won yet. I rolled 2 7s in a row yesterday. It was crazy. And Gothic's actually guessed the first one correctly.
Really? Well, lucky
Yeah, she
7.
guessed 7.
Gothic's awesome.
She was thinking 7 too, and then changed her number to 18 or 8. Notorious Neil, congratulations, it's 16.
Oh, so close.
Congratulations. I know you were close, right? I was thinking it. Let's see. Cottage Farm says, Karlyn, do you feel Be Less White is an okay teaching tool? No, of course she doesn't. I got this, Karlyn. No, she's the one who blew the whistle on it because it's racist. Did I cover you correctly there?
Yes.
Okay. Jason says, last week I brought up 18 U.S. Code 2381, treason. Thanks for covering it. This week I have ice cream and Alzheimer's disease. Interesting stuff. Thank you, Jason. I did, in fact, do a episode on treason, and it has gotten so much worse. His administration has come out and said that they're going to help financially the Taliban. I mean, do you know the definition of treason? I read it live, and then I talked about how he gave the Taliban a kill list, how he left Americans
Oh yeah.
behind, and it gave them weapons, and it's just obnoxious.
But isn't it treason if he's not lucid?
He's the president. Is he the president, or is he not?
Well,
it's his fault.
I guess in theory.
I guess in theory, yeah. Robert Shaw says, who's more fake, CNN or MSNBC?
MSNBC.
Okay. CNN does have some good science articles sometimes. They do cover some space stuff and some like Earth, stuff like that. It feels like MSNBC is like a full on like propaganda shit shoveling
It's
down your throat.
crazy. It's
Sorry to swear.
crazy.
But yeah.
Ha! You swore before me.
I
I'm gonna
tend to
pop out my
drop a
chest and be
little
like,
bit. I drop sometimes, but I always apologize. I'm sorry for that, people. If there's any kids listening, I apologize. Mavis with the $10 super chat says, "Am I the only one that didn't realize Biden's middle name is Robinette? I thought it was Robert for some reason. No wonder he's such an a-hole. He was definitely bullied as a kid." No, I don't think he was bullied. I think Biden was in the cool guys group, the guy like the jock that like dated the hot cheerleader who thought that he was so cool that after high school I mean to this day he acts around like especially around girls, he acts like he's this hot guy that like they're into even when he's talking to young children. It's the same attitude and it's absolutely disgusting. Do you know what I'm talking about?
it's a really fair point. I hadn't actually thought of it like that, but it's a really fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think he always has done the bullying. Yeah. I think he's the bully. Yeah, people in chat are saying it too. Yeah, I think he's definitely the bully. Robert Shaw says, which is better, beanie or hat?
Hat.
Hat. I gotta go with hat. I have a lot of hats, and now that I have short hair, I can wear them again. I'm pretty hyped about it. Makeshift Electric says, how do you know you defeat the left? Stop caring what they think. How do we? I mean, it's one thing to stop caring what they think, but
my metric is actually getting them out of positions of power in every major institution. But
that's pretty good. We got to get there. Chet Chisholm says, Henry Cavill is a sexy geek who builds PCs and plays Warhammer 40K. Ryan Reynolds is the sex avatar of Canada, snark humor. Okay, so you're also on the page of both of them are equal, right? I guess. All right, Chet. Sejong says, the problem with all of this is activism. Activism keeps this BS active. When you keep tearing the scab off, you make it an open wound. Quit picking. And you know what? You know how to stop that? It's getting into places of power, the positions of power in these institutions, and making the fundamental change instead of being an activist against it. Because how do you actually make change, though? I think that's the way.
I agree with that, but I consider that activism. If we are purposefully trying to get people into position, I mean, to be honest with you, we are not like we sat back for 40 years while the left did this. We sat back for 40 years. That's what inaction gets you exactly the situation that we are in right now. They have taken over everything. They control all the schools. They control all the universities. They control the government. They control the military. They control the churches. They control the entertainment. They control Hollywood. They control the news. They control everything because we weren't activists. We weren't proactive. So I don't think it's good advice to say we can't be activists. We need to be activists.
In a different sense, though, because I feel like an activist now versus an activist 100 years ago are two completely different things.
Yeah, I mean that's very true, but I think like we need to be smart in all of this. Honestly, like the truth is that we are reaching a point where we really don't have that much time left to turn this around. And that's why it's so important to me to focus on people who are actually like who are in the fight, who are focused on the goal, who understand what the problem is, not fighting each other, focused on the real enemy.
Radio Freedom says, why don't people specify what is being taught rather than just calling it critical race theory? The normies have no idea what you're talking about when you say critical race theory. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, we should have started the show by just defining it definitively.
Well,
what it is.
Critical race theory is an academic ideology that started in the 1970s that says racism exists everywhere in every system, in every institution, in every interaction, and the job of the critical race theorist is to explore how, not if, how racism occurred in every single circumstance. So that covers one of the main tenets of critical race theory that comes into play, which is racism is always assumed everywhere. But I will say too, like, so if people want a definition of like, so I've tried, and I have a book coming out next year that's going to break this down. I've put out like different words to look for to assess if something is critical race theory. But you can also look at some of the anti-CRT bills that got introduced because they list the specific tenets that were banned.
All right, right on. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I want a signed copy.
Yeah, of course.
Robert Shaw says, which is better, barbecue or roasted meat? Barbecue.
Barbecue.
Uh, barbecue. Chet Chisholm says, I'm not white, I'm a Celt. Okay.
All right.
Uh, Ladyfoot says, hey, Adam, are you going to make chocolate coffee? No, I'm not going to do flavored coffee because it's actually not good. It's like it's chemicals. Like, it's not when you think flavored coffee, you're not. I've looked into it, and it's not what I want. Like I like organic. Not all of my blends are organic, but I don't want to put chemicals. A lot of time those flavors are chemicals, and a lot when you get like a I don't know, vanilla hazelnut bean or or chocolate something. It's like a lot of the times it's not chocolate. It's actually like a chemical that makes the coffee taste like chocolate. And it's really expensive to actually make like chocolate coffee beans that will
Hmm.
brew like a chocolatey coffee. And it's not really viable for me at this time.
Just get a flavored creamer. Flavored
Yeah.
cream.
I
Good
mean,
solution.
really,
Or a
my
syrup.
coffee tastes great with cream in it. I use sometimes I use chocolate milk in my coffee. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's not dairy, but who cares? Whatever. Chocolate milk, vanilla milk is really good. I use a vanilla creamer. Love that stuff. Sometimes I have a black. It depends on my mood, honestly. Really, it's like the only time I really have sweets. I'm not a big sweets guy. Daniel Humphreys, what's good? Failed bread, how you doing, mate? Woo! Look at that smooth face. Oh, you haven't seen my butter face, huh? Yeah.
Ah!
Shit. And I got rid of my hair too. I don't know if you noticed that. Let's see. Robert Shaw says, "What was your most remembered dream?" Cool question. What about you?
I don't remember my dreams, and it really annoys me. I think I was abducted by aliens when I was younger, and as a result I don't remember my
You
dreams.
don't
That's
have
actually
any
true.
dream that like pops to
I
mind that
don't.
you're.
I do not remember my dreams. I really don't.
I have two very vivid dreams. And actually, funny enough, I remember a big part of my dream last night. I had this dream that I found like a grizzly bear, and I was in a tent across the street from my house, and I saw the bear in between me and the house, and I saw Nisha come out of the house, and I was like, "Get in the house! There's a bear!" And he like looked at her, and she ran back in, and he like went to run at her, and then turned to look at me and was like really angry at me, and I was like.
Is it like a spirit animal?
It's better me than her, man. And then he kind of like ran away pissed off. But that
Oh.
was last night's dream. But no, my most remembered dream is I was standing in front of my. It wasn't my childhood house, but it was like when I was 4 to 8, 4 to 9 maybe. I lived in this one house that was kind of near a mall, and I remember standing in front of the house and looking up in the sky and just flying up into the sky and then looking down at the house, and then I flew around the mall and then went back. That's the dream.
That's pretty rad.
Anyway, Durna says, I'm not European. My ancestors have been in North America for 400 years, nor am I white because I know who my ancestors were. Heritage equals cultural inheritance. Without it, people are moldable.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that $10 super chat. Robert Shaw says, tell us how you really feel about critical race theory. Jokes. He said jokes. It was a joke.
I like him. He's on the nice list.
Robert Shaw's great. He's great. I mean, he is my most ardent super chatter, and he's got some jokes. I had to cut him off on some of the jokes, but he's batting like 98%. Zarek says, Karlyn make 2-minute video. Oh, Karlyn make 2-minute vids. Air before streams/vids done. Okay, I don't know
Huh?
exactly what you're referring to, but okay. Sejong says, "Wow, Dr. K, that was an angry mustache man in the 1930s who found a lot of people who agreed and decided those who don't need to be purged." Now,
See?
see, Sejong, this is an argument about blocking people or not. She's not purging anyone from Twitter or from YouTube or being able to speak elsewhere. It's just her own personal circle. You know what? I get it.
We're
So
all allowed to block people.
yeah, exactly.
Voluntary association.
hmm Robert Shaw says, Karlyn, the word you're looking for is grifters. Grifters.
In
I
regards
don't.
to what?
No idea. This was.
Okay.
I mean, we're deep in the super chats. Lakava said with a $10 super chat says we should not borrow more than $1 to pay defense contractors until we extract the American people's armaments. Besides, we are broke. I mean, I agree. We need to get those guns back, those helicopters
I
back.
agree. That was stupid.
I mean, and it turns out the $85 billion number was including a lot of the training that we added into the cost. Leftist Twitter is arguing that it's like $30 billion,
I don't
and then
care.
other people, right? I mean, oh, $30 billion. Oh, that makes it better. Like, even if it is 30 billion, like, but then they're arguing now that it could be up to $65 billion worth of equipment. As you said, I don't care. It's over there. It's ours.
Don't
We
care.
paid for it. We taxpayer dollars went into those weapons that kill people that they're now armed with. That's on you, Biden. That's on you, Biden regime.
Leftist Twitter should probably be concerned about the fact that the Taliban is about to take over a seat on like the women's, like, you know, whatever.
That's nuts. I told you that. I told you that last week. I know. It's crazy. Robert Shaw says, "Rip NYC, the ever flooded city." Oh yeah, I saw that. That
was so when the subway was still running, and like
that's nuts.
That was crazy.
I was in New York when Sandy hit, and it was like flooded like crazy. Then that was pretty insane. Robert Shaw says, "You argue like a married couple." It's cool.
We're cool.
No, you want to know why? It's because we still are going to remain friends. You know, it's not like there's absolutely no beef between me and Karlyn. Like
none.
This is the types of conversations that need to happen. Like,
and
sure,
again,
it could be frustrating sometimes, but
yeah,
you know.
but like, I mean, we have a pre-existing relationship. I'm not going to have the same conversation with you as I'm going to have with someone with an anime icon on Twitter. It's a completely different relationship, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, of course. Mr. Paul R says, Dr. Karlyn is correct, Adam. She's like the Democrats. She's focused on the goal, not the down. I see that, and I get it. Like, I haven't, that part of it eluded me before. You know, I see how important that is to be focused on winning the game, winning against this critical race theory. And she's right. Jenny's getting inky with it with a $10 super chat. Says calling it anti-white gives critical race theory supporters the ability to say you're a supremacist. People not versed in critical race theory won't join your team if they think you are. Saying it's just racist takes that power away.
Exactly.
I know you like that one. I know you like that one.
I know who Jenny is.
Oh, okay, all right.
Jenny's on my channel. Yeah, Jenny's
all right,
on my channel.
Right on. But I mean, that's a good point. See that, and that's her point. Eric Peter says, that's Russian. I don't. Okay. Let's see. There's a bunch of Russian stuff. I don't know what it says, and then says LOL #word and #censorship is real. What did you say though? I'm gonna actually copy this so I can find out what you said. Maybe I shouldn't just post it. I'm gonna find out what you wrote here in Russian. I'm gonna come back to that another time. Let's see. Jenny's getting inky with it again. Says, and sometimes you have to cut your losses if people don't get what you say, because you have to fight the fight, not hold someone's hand.
That's exactly right.
You can't let people hold you back from your goal if they don't get it.
Sorry.
I get that. I understand that. You know, I understand it. It's, you know, makes sense.
And that's exactly it. And I'm sorry I keep interrupting you. I honestly just think you're done when I start to talk. So I'm sorry I keep talking over you. But no, Jenny is like absolutely right. Like, listen, I don't begrudge anyone wanting to learn about this stuff, but there are many teachers out there that might be better for you than I am. I have a very specific mission. I see my job in a very specific way, and some people are going to be aligned with that and some aren't. If you have an open mind, you're willing to have a conversation, you're willing to learn, I'm willing to teach you, but I'm not willing to fight all the time.
Wesley says, Karlyn, have you considered you come across as a narcissist to 70% of the people and are actually the problem? I mean, that's...
I don't particularly care. Like, I don't care.
Okay. Dernas with a $10 super chat says, Dr. B, you said that you wanted to win. The strategy of extremists is to eliminate the center to normalize extremisms. The white identitarians are a product of statist identitarian education. Deprogram them.
No, I'm not going to waste time deprogramming white identitarians. If you want to take on that responsibility, I'm sure they would welcome it.
Yeah, I feel like they have figured it out, and it is indoctrinating children
Oh
because
yeah.
young human beings are very susceptible to being manipulated by others, and it is a shame. It is on parents that they need to be a part of their kids' lives, so that, I mean, look at what just happened with this crazy teacher that was teaching, to be against America, and had a Mao and Antifa flag on his wall, and is like creating these, what did he say, 100 days, 180 days
180 days to create
to
revolutionaries.
create revolutionaries. It's like that's what they're doing to the children. They're not trying to change people's minds. They know they're not changing my mind. They know they're not changing Karlyn's mind. They're going after the kids, and going, that's what they're doing. They're creating the next generation of their army, which that we have to fight. And critical race theory is being taught in these schools alongside that. That guy probably taught critical race theory. It's like, I
Yeah,
don't know for a
most of them.
fact,
Yeah,
I'm just assuming,
most of
because
them
it's
do.
part of their weapon. It's in their quiver of stuff they use. Robert Shaw says, I like Adam and Karlyn. I bet they have lovely skin. Okay, thank you. Yes, we're great. High five me.
Indeed. High five. Oh,
No, no, over
this
here.
way. Wait.
Come on. Other hand. Other
Uh,
hand. Use your other
I'm
hand.
knitting.
Oh, you can't let go? All right, fine. She left me. She left me hanging.
I high fived you
You
with
left
this
me hanging.
hand.
You left me
Okay,
hanging.
fine,
Well, you
fine.
can't switch hands for a second, or
Oh
how did
my god. So hang on, I'm doing this hand. This it. Uh, uh,
flatten it?
I can't do it.
I don't know.
It's
Anyway,
opposites.
Chet says reptilian lives don't matter. Okay. Sandy says Robert Shaw says Adam, shh, feel like Robert Shaw thinks that he thinks he's auditioning to be the second banana on the show. It's literally an emoji of a banana. Via telejob. I mean, it is hilarious. Robert Shaw does super. I say Robert Shaw. I said this the other day because someone else said this, and it's like nothing says. I say Robert Shaw more than anything else on my show. It is absolutely bonkers. Let's see here. Robert Shaw says, sometimes I have racist thoughts, but I ignore them. Okay. And
Good
that's
thing to do. Yeah.
it's a good thing
That's
to,
a healthy thing to do.
yeah. Trump Willis is my name. Larry Elder called it anti-white, so how is he racist?
Larry Elder has been given bad advice and doesn't understand what he's saying, and he's behaving irresponsibly.
Okay. Jonathan says people of color are called race trainers when they are race traders, I think you believe you meant to say, when they are anti-critical race theory. Yep.
Yeah.
The Buzz with a $10 super chat said critical race theory in theory can be used against anyone. In application, it's currently anti-white.
Nope.
It's not used to bludgeon a. So see, the term "it's anti-white" I feel is not accurate, right? Because this is what I've learned from today's episode, right? When you say it's anti-white, you are, and I got this from you. You are that deflection, right? That these people are trying to deflect literally everyone to look over and blame white people. It is working. It's doing that. It's making people focus on that. Oh, well, no, it's not. It's not. I'm gonna argue. I'm gonna fight with you and say that it's not anti-white. And it's like, look, all right. They are using it's not anti-white. It's just choosing to aim and blame them people within the confines of critical race theory, which is all racism. I get it.
It's
But
creating division, and that's the
it
goal.
is creating division. I think they are. See, the thing is, it's like they're both true. It is anti-white. It is anti-black. It is. So in certain instances, like the Coca-Cola thing, like be less white, like, all right, that's pretty anti-white. But if you think about the whole picture of it, it's racist towards everyone. It's saying that, like, to bring up that I had those whiteness culture in the United States. Like, what is it? It's like doing your homework on time, showing up working hard. Like, what is, this is like, that's assuming that non-white people can't do that. Like,
That's
it's
exactly
it's
right.
it's
Yes.
racist, right? In all forms. So, I feel like there needs to be a different way of saying it's critical race theory is racist, while and it's portraying white people as the bad guys, and that's racist, right? I mean,
Portraying white people as the most powerful guys. If
I
we're
think
talking
I
about
I
using our
think
language, it's portraying white people as the holders of the power.
I think that might be true on paper, but if you look at literally all of the stuff that's come out of, like, I'm talking about like the influencers, the TikTok videos talking about the stuff, the stupid classes that I've seen, and I know you've seen more than me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. It's like they're still, it's it's not that they're saying that they are. Well, you said, is it the norm or are they better? I don't.
It's
I
so
feel
they
like I've heard both.
what they say in the classes. So it really is a misnomer. They really don't often teach people that white people are superior. That doesn't happen all that often. Sometimes
Yeah.
they try to get people to admit that they're oppressors because they're white people, but that is the exception. What normally happens in these classes, and again, I've watched thousands of hours of this stuff, is they say that white people are the norm, they are the default. Anything in our society, anything outside of white people are considered abnormal or not the
Hmm.
default, and that's why they're oppressed. That's what they teach.
All right. Cano Peas says critical race with a $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Critical race theory doesn't just say you are racist if you do or say racist stuff. It also says if you don't agree with us, what constitutes racism, then you are racist. That's the flaw of all anti-philosophies. Excuse me, like anti-racism, anti-fascism, etc. I mean, that's a even bigger picture, bringing up anti-fascism and all that stuff, because it really, they they do change the meanings of words and stuff, and say if you don't, if you don't agree with it, then you're racist, you are fascist, you're the problem. And it's like, it's more ways to divide, right?
Well, yeah, and the bigger point too is that people just got to stop buying into these definitions, because this is a mistake I see anti-CRT people make all the time, is they internalize the definitions that the right is or the left is giving them. And
Hmm.
that's the fundamental flaw. Stop buying the definition, because they're just going to change it. If it becomes convenient to change it, they're going to change it to something else anyway.
Yeah. Mazo says, I love Dr. Carlin. I don't have to hate to disagree. I like that. Tune in, drop out with a $25 super chat. Just says, this is just anecdotal, but the anti-white narrative could be the reason I now see the stars and bars of the stars and stripes flying outside a house I pass every day on my way to work. Is that a specific? Oh, is that stars and bars? Is that
That's the flag.
the Confederate flag versus the stars and
Yeah.
stripes? Okay. Interesting that people are now switching to that. I don't know anything about that.
Because it's
Cranberry.
making critical race theory is making people more racist. It's not making
Yeah.
them less racist, making people more racist.
And that's what they want.
That's what they want. They're winning. That's what they want.
Cranberry says, we use all, wait, they use all we say to lie. Don't acquiesce to the left, as you were just saying. Robert Shaw
Exactly.
says, would you rather be taller or shorter? Taller.
Taller.
Duh, taller. I mean,
Obviously.
I'm actually happy with my height. But if I were to choose between being taller or shorter, I'd prefer to be taller.
I'm happy with my height. I feel like I'm a good height for a woman. I'm like I'm 5'6", so I'm like tall, but I'm not too tall.
It's the perfect height, I think.
Yeah.
For a woman.
I think so.
Yeah. Robert Shaw says, if Beanie Pond asked you to be on a show, would you? Oh, she already clarified that.
No.
And I don't think that's happening. Whatever's happening between you and the current producer.
No.
Always been the producer.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sandra with a $20 super chat says, I like how Karlyn is simplifying the point. When most are trying to keep people confused and unaware, there are really no arguments. Racism is evil. All lives matter. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yay.
All lives matter. Yeah, I agree. Jonathan says, Karlyn, you are correct. Critical theory attempt to make make a in group and an out group but are really just anti-humanity.
Yes.
It's what all Marxist-based theories do.
Yes.
Right on. You see, Karlyn, you see how many people still are you have people that agree with you. I just want to point it out because even though we had a lot of hate, I don't want to say hate, but just like disagreements, opposite side that don't agree with it, that think you're wrong, like whatever, there's still people that appreciate this conversation. Do you believe that now, at least? Because
I
it
mean,
didn't feel like you did earlier.
Well, I believe it. It's just like I cannot adequately express how frustrating this entire experience has been to have given up so much to do this and then to be attacked by people on my own side because they're not listening and
Yeah.
it's incredibly incredibly frustrating and it just again it's just like it makes me want to throw my hands up in the air and say if this many if this many people are going to be this aggressive and this angry and be so incredibly close-minded to
Mm-hmm.
any perspective when they frankly haven't fully educated themselves on this. And I understand I spend more time on it than most, but like it's just like it makes the here's what it is. This task is already virtually impossible. There are not enough people fighting back. We are losing badly. It's already virtually impossible. And then you add on it all of this, and it's just like, why do I even bother?
Yep. All right. There's a couple super chats I think you're really gonna like.
Okay.
See, where was I? My goodness. Here we go. Rob Shaw says, okay, Bezos or Gates, who's better? Oh God, why would you do
That's
that
an
to us?
awful question, Bezos.
Bezos.
Yeah. Gates is
Anyone.
a mastermind supervillain.
He really is. Trump says, Trump Willis is my name, says, do you enjoy calling everyone racist that might have different views? Sounds like a lefty to me. That's not what she said, Trump.
Not what I said.
Trump Willis. I feel like it's very hard to you're very passionate, and a lot of times it happened during the show, like your emotions were steering the boat, I guess is the best way of doing it. But when you finally like laid it out and like got to it, um you made a point that was very clear, right? I mean, I understand the whole thing much better after this. um and I think that not everyone did, because I think a lot of people are like Hydra was doing earlier. He was confusing you explaining what critical race theory was with what your viewpoints on life are, and there's a very strong definitive difference because, hey, everybody, if I feel like the core audience is still here right now, so it's like a lot of those people are probably gone, but um, she is very much against critical race theory.
And
Right? Am I
honestly,
right, Karlyn?
well, yeah, and that's honestly another thing that's been so frustrating about all this because I've had so many people making these absurd videos saying I'm in favor of critical race theory. They're lying to people, and it's like,
Yeah.
again, it's cutting off your nose to spite your face. Congratulations, you just handed the left a win.
Chet Chisholm says, Elon, don't you mean Wario? Wow, 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 wow. You remember SNL, he dressed up as Wario.
Yes.
Chilled to the core says, I agree your point, but you consistently display an arrogant, guarded stance towards those who disagree with you. You cannot succeed this way.
I'm doing just fine this way. So, I mean, if you're not
it's just an opinion,
like,
just an opinion. Ego says, Karlyn, don't say, they're saying this is from you, says, don't say critical race theory is anti-white. You're buying into their rhetoric. Also, Karlyn, persons of color most affected by critical race theory. I think she has made it clear that everyone is affected, and it's society as a whole.
A complete misquote, but okay.
Well, it wasn't actually quoting. It was one of those like technically summing up, whatever, paraphrasing. It doesn't matter.
Still wrong.
That's fine. Robert Shaw says Coke or Pepsi, which is better? Pepsi. I don't like soda at all.
I still drink Coke.
I don't drink. I haven't had
I like
soda
the new red cans
in so long. I drink 3 things, and that's it. I drink 3 things: coffee, water, and whiskey. That's it. I'm seriously, I don't have, that's all I drink.
It's a respectable position.
You know what I'm saying? Eric Peter says the doctor FBI agent.
Oh God, that was the other thing. That was like,
no. We have both had to
Oh.
deal with the FBI, and it's ridiculous.
No, Adam, with all this, like, people started saying I was a Fed. I'm like, come on, man. Like, of all the
Crazy.
things.
Jonathan says, the way to defeat Marxist-based theories to integrate/become united, we must start seeing each as the same. It's not about white or black. We are humans.
Yay. Yes.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. Mark Robertshaw says, it's called Cast Castle, not Cast House. Wrong, wrong. Oh, sorry. Whatever. Chet says, Scottish Canadian. Identitarian. God save and F the Queen. Okay. Robertshaw says, Adam's too busy making a family to live on Twitter. I'm not making a family yet. I'm
fake news.
Yeah. I'm prepping basically. I'm building my area. I love my place. Mazo says Dr. K changed my perspective, not my mind. Okay. And same with me, actually. I agree with that. My perspective has been changed, and I absolutely understand what she is saying, and she is right. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with you. It is all racist. It is racist. Robert Shaw says critical race theory being racist is common sense, though.
Indeed it is.
Indeed it is. Elizabeth Beardsley, thank you for that super chat. Didn't say anything, but Sejong for the $10 super chat says Dr. K came on way too strong and way too emotional without any structured thought. It was total cloud of unstructured emotional ranting. It's like having an over emotional girlfriend who can't deal.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that if I was a man, that comment wouldn't be made.
I mean, there's emotional men, Karlyn, and
I don't think that comment would be made if I was a man. I'm sorry. Don't.
Okay. Well, I said it earlier. I was saying that you did get a little emotional and you were letting.
I got emotional, but that's not what he's saying. He's sent in many, many super chats, and I think
True,
he
you're
probably
right.
has
Sejong
I can make many comments about what I think of Sejong at the moment, but I won't. Okay. I don't want to be an overly emotional woman.
Deuce, thank you for that little tiny super sticker. The AS trader said, yes, mind change. She's right. They use what scares/divides. Example, Asian hate, failed narrative, disappeared. Adam, read Derek Bell, not just articles. I don't really have
don't read Derek Bell. Derek Bell is one of the principal architects of critical race theory. Don't read Derek Bell. Rot your brain.
But why would I want to? Yeah. So you said your mind's changed. She's right, but then you say read Derek Bell. Like, what is that? Why would that be the case? AS trader, to learn more about them, or
Well, I mean, listen. This is why I watch all these trainings, because if you listen to what they're saying this stuff out loud. It's just that a lot of times people aren't paying attention. They're putting it in their writings. They're saying it flat out. It's not a secret.
Scary world, clown world we live in. Robert Shaw says, in a Marxist society, machines do all the work. Yeah, and we're all pegs in that machine. Robert Shaw says, which is more important, length or thickness? I am not going to answer that.
Thickness.
Although there's actually a study that just came out. It is actually length, not thickness.
No, I'm going to go with my own.
Okay. There you go.
I don't need no study to tell me my preference, Adam.
Anyway, moving on. Daniel says she's too scared to debate Rams Paul.
Oh, Rams Paul is not a good person, and I'm not going anywhere near that guy. No.
I don't even know who it is. Chet Chisholm with a couple super chats in a row, totaling $15. Thank you. I understand Karlyn's frustration, but I disagree with the method of dealing with it. I'm caught between COVID deniers and vax fascists, and I keep trying my best to educate and get others to work together. My goal is on par with Karlyn's. I'm in this to win, to make our community safe, protect our vulnerable, and see that we work together to get out of this mess. I don't block anyone out, even though I may not get through. I do keep trying, though. That's fine, Chet. She is on a significantly bigger platform than you are, but
I
And
don't think that people understand. And listen, like if I had a smaller platform, I probably wouldn't be blocking people. But the fact of the matter is, I have over 80,000 people on Twitter. I have over 100,000 people on YouTube. Like at some point, you have to have a filtering mechanism if you're actually trying to make the platform useful. I fully
yeah,
respect that other people have different approaches. I'm a very goal oriented person. My goal is to use the platforms to the best advantages I can, and like I have to manage it in a way to be able to do that. And my
mhm,
goal is not to appeal to the broadest possible audience. It's just
yeah.
not.
Ah, man, we've been going for 3 hours.
I know, dude.
I could 2 3 hour episodes in a row. Wow.
It's not a bad job if you can get it. So come on.
I love my life. I'm super grateful for everything I have. It's amazing. I'm not complaining at all.
No,
I
no.
just saw I just was
It's
because
flown
I have
by,
you over
Adam.
here. So my camera's here. I have super chats over here, and then you're actually over here. So I'm looking at you talk
Hmm.
over here. I try to. It's difficult to I like looking at people talking. So I'm trying to learn how to look at the camera and like just listen and not look over here.
It's
It's
weird.
difficult.
Yeah.
It is weird, right? Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Robert Wild says, Adam, did you see the part of the vid about the super gay raptor and said Ford work at that prison with the SS? No, I don't know what video you're talking about, but I did. If you see the super gay raptor,
I have not heard about this now.
no, Ford made a super gay
Oh,
truck.
I did see this gold
Oh,
sparkle.
yeah, that's because that's what all gay people are like, I guess.
I kind of like gold sparkle. I'm not gonna lie.
Fantastic, Mr. Knox. Oh, you brought it back. I like it. I remember there was a hashtag Asian Lives Matter. Then BLM forced it to not be used or changed to stop Asian hate. It amazes me how quickly that went.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's how it
they
works.
just
It went.
whatever
You
is
know,
useful.
well, you know the day that the Stop Asian Hate campaign happened. It was the
Hmm.
day that Derek Chauvin got sentenced.
Oh, really? Same day?
Yeah, same day.
Wow. No Jab Crow says if this question of whether Yahtzees were anti-Semitic is avoided, then it proves that Karlyn is putting whites against a separate standard. I don't
No,
know.
I
I
disagree.
mean,
I fundamentally disagree.
but weren't they?
This is a backhanded way of asking a question you don't want to answer. I think I could be
I don't really
wrong.
understand why it's a trap. Like what is it? What I don't really get it. Because
I was called a Jew 87,000 times in the weeks and that's a little bit of exaggeration, it's hyperbole. But no, this is like that's one of the main insults that they use.
huh?
And that's
Okay.
true of the white identitarians and of the gripers.
Robert said he posted it in Quartering's video. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of other people's videos. I
Me
tend to
neither.
read more articles and stuff instead. Because like I have to sit and listen to the video, and I can't do other things. And when I read an article, I could read it really quickly and be like, now I have that knowledge instead of hearing their opinion on it, which alters my opinion on things, and I don't like doing that. So I don't tend to. I like the Quartering a lot, actually. I do catch some of
Yeah.
his stuff, and he covers some things that I don't talk about. And like Nerdrotic as well. I like his stuff because he also it's another version of the internet because different people talk about different things. I tend to talk about science and politics and I don't know, things that happen, whatever it is. But everyone's different, so sometimes they'll do a video that I didn't, I wouldn't do myself, and I check them out for it. Mr. Knox, thank you for that super chat. You retracted it though. Ryan says wrong. White people were oppressed in America. There were a bunch of Irish slaves that helped build the railroad, but they don't care about that, do they? Critical race theory is whatever's useful.
No. This is not true. Actually, Italians and Irish have made a comeback. So there is like Google
No,
Italian.
were. It says
No,
were.
no.
Oppressed.
In the land of critical race theory, recently both Italians and the Irish have made a comeback because in White Fragility on page 12, Robin DiAngelo actually says that Italians and Irish have assimilated to whiteness, so therefore they are white for our respective purposes. But in the recent weeks, I've
for
seen
our respective purposes.
I've seen democratic socialists talking about Italian X. They call Italians now white people of color. They talk about how Italians are marginalized. And last week, I think it was like in the New York Post or something, they did a ranking of like offensive college mascots, and Notre Dame's like Fighting Irish made the offensive college mascot list. So Irish and Italians are making a pressing
comeback. Has any Irish ever said that they're offended by that?
No. Doesn't matter. So. That's not the point.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mr. Knox says, he was talking about how they got rid of the Asian Lives Matter hashtag, and he just says when it didn't suit their narrative anymore. Yep,
exactly. That's exactly right.
Winston said Karlyn is a left-wing grifter planted here to destroy patriots' attempts to stop critical race theory. Don't worry, Karlyn. I right off the bat, I'm like, this is ridiculous. She supported Pete Buttigieg. She's clear.
Oh my God. Do you know what?
Karlyn, I know. I got this. She's clearly not on our side. Winston, you know that she was on that side, right? She has talked about it many times.
The whole point.
I don't know if you know this. Both of us met doing a walkaway campaign. Granted, we had introduced each other online, but then we actually met in person about that.
But
do you know how much she's doing against critical race theory?
But this
no. I don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it, Karlyn. This is why. This is the things I have to do with. No. These people are. Who cares what this person thinks?
But this is the problem.
Do you care about this person? Are you giving?
I care that my ability to be effective is substantially
diminished. That has nothing to do with it. Because some random person on the internet?
It wasn't random people. There was a concerted around that. I know exactly how that person knows about that picture, and it's because blue check influencers,
right? Okay,
used it to smear me and saying, "Look, she was a booty." Like he's parroting talking points from blue check influencers.
That's literally what they do.
Who were pissed that I wasn't using the anti-white language and wanted to smear me. And it's like,
okay, so what are you gonna? Who cares? Whatever.
Again. I don't like they can think whatever they want. I think the whole thing is stupid. You know what the funniest thing about that whole incident though, Adam, is so they lifted that. You're gonna like.
I don't want to hear it. I don't even care. No, I don't.
You're going to like this. They lifted that picture from my Instagram, which was right next to a picture of me with Elizabeth Warren. So I don't know why they didn't use the picture of me with Elizabeth Warren. That's like way more offensive. They picked the Buttigieg one.
She's an Indian minority.
Like I was like, if they really want to piss people off, just post the picture of me with Elizabeth Warren. It's still on my Instagram.
Let's see here. Josephine with the $10 super chat says, one thing I never hear, but I feel actually bad for both the woke and the white supremacists. Both were indoctrinated / brainwashed into believing ugly ideas either by school or family. What do you think? Yeah,
I agree.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it's your, they were taught. There was a viral video going on about this young father and his daughter, and he was talking to her about critical race theory, and he was like, she was like, I love everybody. Like, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. Like, if you're nice to me, then you're nice. You remember what I'm talking about? It was such a cute video, and like the dad was like, see, this is what kids are like. They are taught to treat other people differently. This is how they really are. All kids are like this until like taught otherwise, taught that we're different, taught and trained and indoctrinated and brainwashed. Yes, both of us completely agree, Josephine.
And there's a clip on my channel, so if you look up like my name and white identitarian, there will be a clip of me talking to an actual like young, like 22-year-old white identitarian on my channel. Yeah. And the reason I bring this up is I felt so bad for this kid because he had obviously been like brought into this ideology from like for nefarious purposes, and he's 22 years old and he just wants to be able to live his life. But he was also like, the energy was so cold and so dead, and it was just really, really disturbing to see what people are creating out of this ideology. And to be really clear, this is all the left's fault. This is all the left's fault, but it's our responsibility what we do with it.
Not all, because the white supremacists, I mean, Are they
But
left, or are they,
well, no, but
they
like so
exist?
well, remember we talked about like life is about balance though. If you go to an extreme in one direction, it creates an extreme in the other direction. The
Mm-hmm.
left created the monster that they were afraid of. The
Yep.
left has created this problem.
Sandra says Biden may have early stages dementia, but he's still lucid enough to be an insidious evil puppet.
I don't think so, but okay.
I,
I
I
think
think
he has
I
dementia.
think he's got his moments. I think it's
Oh,
two
I'm
can. I think
lucid
two
moments,
things
but
can be true at the same time.
oh, fine. I don't
You like
care
how I
enough to
brought that
argue.
back?
Yeah, I don't care enough to argue.
Joe Biden's denture says, if white pride is inherently bad, explain how insert literally any other group pride is acceptable. The cognitive dissonance is staggering.
Because white people have never been
Racist.
oppressed in any significant way in this country. Sorry.
Okay, in this country, well, I don't know, well, maybe, but because I mean, anyway, Mavis says, Speddies are the best meat. Fight me. What? I don't even know what that is. If you don't
For the
know
burrito.
what a Speddy is, come to Speddy Fest in Binghamton in October. Binghamton, New York, or Binghamton, England. I don't know what a Speddy is. What is
Binghamton's
it?
way up there in New York. I have no idea.
I've been to Binghamton. Binghamton's really beautiful. I went downhill skateboarding a bunch of times up there. It's great. Lots of big hills. Elizabeth says, you are changing things. We are not in time of civil discourse. You may be bringing it back. I think you are changing things. I think I'm changing things, and I think we're doing a great job.
We're trying.
Fake high five.
Wait, I can do it this way.
Yes,
Yes.
it counts. We did it. All right. Georgia says Karlyn Borosenko video, late night reaction, proof that white power movement is attaching itself to anti-critical movement.
Yeah, watch that stream, man. Watch
Yeah.
that stream. That'll show you everything I'm talking about.
I believe it. Failed Bread says the entire Afghan situation is super effed up. 20 years wasted. Oh, and nice hair. Not the first time I've seen you like this, but just commented this time. Thanks, Betty. I appreciate that. Good to see you in chat. This is one of my my homies that I game with sometimes. And yeah, thank you very much. And I agree completely. It is absolutely a wasted time and money spent. Mr. Knox says, my takeaway from this is Karlyn is crass. However, I don't see her as wrong. Critical race theory is racist towards everyone, not just white. This was a good stream, in my opinion.
I'm allowed to be crass.
Boom!
I'll
Karlyn,
take crass.
Proof. More and more people have said, hey, this is good. You know?
Good.
You are crass. You're a spicy individual. Me too sometimes.
I am who I am. Like, I'm not going to be inauthentic, you know?
I know.
I'd rather be crass than unauthentic. Every day.
I love that. Absolutely. I prefer authenticity all day long.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys get from me, you know? Robert Shaw says, I'm just a guy. Don't elevate me. All right, I won't. You will stay. You will stay, Robert Shaw. They hate short people of color. MSNBC reports. Probably watch it, right?
Probably.
Mr. Paul R says any chimpanzee can sit in a corner and push buttons.
Wow.
Dude, Mr. Paul R.
Oh, bird. Oh my god. I wouldn't even said that. You think I'm crass? I wouldn't have even said that.
Hey, I read my super chats, baby.
I love it. I
have skipped some, but
I like Adam's stream being subversive. I like it.
Oh, I subtweeted her a lot back in the day, but I don't anymore. Now I just tweet and
I just feel bad for her, to be honest. I just feel bad.
Yeah, I don't. Not
no.
You have
a different relationship with her.
Not in the slightest. Anyway, this is we're horrible.
Let's not go down this road.
I don't know how to say your name, but you super chatted me a bunch. I appreciate you. With another $10 super chat says anti-white is specifically the harm of critical race theory. They're making Caucasians the bourgeoisie. People of Euro descent have been killed because of critical race theory, not of Afro descent. Karlyn is trivializing the anti-white sentiment.
And you're trivializing the fact that when you teach children they can't be successful unless the white man lets them be, that impacts them their entire lives.
Don't be so smug about it. Jeez. See, like, that is the attitude that people are like, you know what? F you, Karlyn.
I don't care.
I know. but maybe you should care a little bit.
No.
Because I mean, even to me, like, ugh, like, come on.
I
Like,
don't care, Adam. Like, here's the thing.
okay, I get it. You
That
don't care.
person
I
watched
get it. You
but
don't care.
no, but here's the thing. That person watched an hour and a half of a completely like where we broke a conversation where we broke it down over and over and over and over and
Mhm.
over again. And if they can't like even open their minds to consider it, then they are not a person that I'm trying to appeal to. I'm sorry.
Okay, I get it. Robert Shaw says, if Karlyn's a Fed, she can take me. Okay. Mr. Wolfgram says there's a pic of a woman protesting, and the sign she was holding said "Abortion saves lives."
That's a pretty gross sign.
Oh my gosh, the I
hate the abortion debate. I
this
hate it because
it is. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not talking about it. We're not
I
talking
hate
about
it.
that.
Okay.
Okay. Sejong says the problem is being an emotional screaming mess in front of a total crowd of strangers. Imagine the look of to people who just want to understand something.
We weren't in an emotional screaming match.
No, nobody
We
started
like
screaming.
literally weren't.
Robert Shaw says, he, I'm a thick boy. Okay. By the way, his full name is Emperor Mark Robert Shaw Pepperoni Supreme. He changes his name often, but
That's quite a title.
Quesadilla says organic just means it comes from the ground. Gasoline fits the narrative or the definition of organic. Would you drink it? Ask Karlyn to look up organic in the old dictionary. If
I
you
like
want
how
to.
a dictionary from the 90s is the old dictionary. It's like the olden times, the 90s.
The old ways.
I'll look it up.
Let's see. Sejong says, but you keep doing your own. You keep doing you, owning the patriarchy on stream. Okay, Sejong. Quesadilla says, launch all the quesadillas to the moon. I love this. So his name's David Casada. I don't know. I think it's Casada, but I accidentally called him Quesadilla the other day, and now I just call him Quesadilla. So
I like quesadilla. It's a good
it's
nickname.
pretty good. I love quesadillas. So Mr. Paul R says, and Dr. Karlyn, he hasn't watched They Live yet, or is it They Live or They Live?
You haven't watched They Live yet?
No, I haven't. Oh my goodness. I'm too
Adam.
busy living my life.
Adam, this is a critical movie. You have to watch this movie. Do a movie night with your locals and watch They Live.
I will. My goodness.
Oh my god.
Sejong says the real way to stop critical race theory is to tell people how to stand up to it. Tell them it's not going to happen in their schools, and then it's going to be ignored.
Yeah, I do all that.
Yep, she does. Ryan says Sparkle only looks good on boats.
Sparkle does look good on boats.
Yeah, it does. Something about the water glinting off the water. Or off the light glinting off the water. There we go. Rachel with a $5 super chat says, I love you two together. This is all.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, don't worry. I can be crass too. It's all good. Robert Shaw says, that's an insult to chimps. Wait, what are you talking about? Who insulted chimps? Sejong said, stop insulting chimps. They're 4 times stronger than us. Yeah, they will F us up. My goodness.
Do you want to know what the definition of organic is?
Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
Okay. 1, of or having to do with a bodily organ. 2, of or involving the basic makeup of a thing, inherent, inborn, constitutional. 3, made up of systemically interrelated parts or organized. 4, designating or of any chemical compound containing carbon. Some of the simple compounds of carbon as carbon dioxide are frequently classified as inorganic compounds, designating or of having branch of chemistry dealing with carbon compounds. 5, of having characteristics of or derived from living organisms. 6, almost done, grown with only animal or vegetable fertilizers as manure, bone meal, compost, etc. 7, law designating of the fundamental or constitutional state of law. And 8, producing or involving alteration of a structure of any organ. The big dictionary speaks.
Those are a lot of...
The olden dictionary of olden times.
Chet says, dementia makes the mask slip so you see underneath. I mean, in that case, he's been suffering dementia for his entire political career. Sejong says, no way. Organic does not mean it comes from the ground. The gas does not come from the ground. It's heavily processed. It's literally refined. This is talking to the other person.
I like how you get paid for them having an argument.
I love it. That's great. But
good job.
My favorite, though, is the fact that my chat will support each other. They will I've been super chatted like, hey, it's this person's birthday. Like, let's wish him a happy birthday.
Oh,
And it's like,
that's
man,
awesome.
it's so cool. You know, I love it. Robert Shaw says, gas comes from my backside. Look up the old term for gender. Oh, no, we're not going to get into that right now.
No.
That's funny though. Sejong says, no, that's sir farts a lot. And that's oh, we got one more super chat. Page O with a $10 super chat says, quote, it's a jungle when war is made and you panic and throw your own poop at the enemy. Camera pulls back to reveal your true identity. It's a sheep in wolf's clothing, a smoking gun holding ape. End quote from Rilo Kiley. I don't know what that's from. Okay. Thank you for that super chat. I don't know what that's from though. What's that from? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Robert Shaw says food gets processed by my gut. Mine too. And every other human out there. All right. Thank you, everybody. My goodness. That was the longest show I've done in a long time. 3 hours and 23 minutes. Absolutely
Record
insane.
breaking. Good show, Adam.
Insane. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for joining me, Karlyn. And of course, everyone, there's no hard feelings here, you know, and
No.
it's, oh my gosh. You guys are super chatting me like crazy. We got another one from the long letters guy person says, actually, I missed that part. I said earlier, I was late to the stream telling my kids they won't amount to anything, doesn't kill them. Oh, all right. Xylox Dragon said, ha, and you thought it was the last super chat. And then finally we got
God.
Sejong says 37 until none. Roll for Commodores. All right, well, it's 22 until none. I don't know if you know about this. Commodore's Reserve is my newest coffee blend, and proceeds from the profits go to 22 until none. It is a nonprofit for veterans because 22 veterans a day commit suicide in America, and it's something. My brother has 22 until none on his arm, and he told me about it. So I made a blend, and whenever you order a bag of Commodore's Reserve, you basically are giving a little bit to 22 until none. So you get some good coffee, and some money goes to a good cause.
That's pretty awesome, Adam.
So I rolled the dice. Karlyn, would you like to participate?
18.
Okay, it is not 18.
Dang.
But I am watching the numbers coming in. Oh my gosh. This is for an actual bag of coffee, mind you, but this is actually for something to win. Good luck, guys. And this is from Sejong the Great. He is giving away a bag of Commodore's Reserve with a huge $37 super chat, which covers the shipping costs and everything. And the YouTube cut as well.
Okay. Sejong has earned some points back for that donation. I will say that. That's a good deed. That's a good deed.
Indeed, right? American Billy's guessing so many. You can't do that, dude. You can't just go 1 through 20. I will negate if you do guess them over and over again. And if you guys have won already, please don't guess anymore. I see a lot of people that have already won a bag of coffee. Finally, we got a winner. Let me just double check that no one has guessed it before. Just want to make sure that I didn't see it, but I don't think anyone guessed it. Nope. All right, Neo. Wait, how did you say it? Let me just. I just took a screenshot, so I don't have to. Neomix. Neomix, congratulations! It is 12. You are the winner. It is 12. You won a bag of Commodore's Reserve. Let me just write that down. Commodore's Reserve. Do me a favor, send me an email at thekriglershow@gmail.com and give me your information. And you won a bag of Commodore's Reserve. So thank you very much, Sejong, for supporting both my show and my coffee company, and most importantly, 22 until none. Thank you very much. And congratulations, Neomix. All right. Robert Shaw says, it's me, Dio. Okay. And then this, I don't know how to say your name. How do you pronounce it? Can you at least tell me that? You super chatted me a lot. It says, only told you'll be great. You sound like you give no damn about white people. You said they don't have culture, and that them being. Wait, when did she say that though? I don't recall her saying that. So that is inaccurate.
Making stuff up.
Nor did she say that she didn't give a damn about white people. That I don't see. This is choosing to take things certain way that, you know, reiterate your point of view, because she didn't say that. All right. I happen to agree with her on some points and disagree on some points, but I've been paying attention to her the entire time, and not once in my entire time of knowing Karlyn has she ever said anything along those lines. So
Nope.
it says, you sound like you give no F's about white people. You've said they don't have culture and that them being killed matters less than minority kids' feelings. No, she.
This is
So
why I don't try to appeal to
no,
everyone.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm doing this. You stay over
Okay.
there. What are
I'm
you
knitting.
doing?
I'm
You're
about
knit.
I'm
Yeah,
about
you're
to
knit.
finish
You're
a
good.
row. I'm good.
Robert Shaw says my nan used to knit. I miss her. Oh, that's cute. Ryan says slept through the show. What is my punishment?
Ooh.
It should have been a bigger super chat. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Quesadilla says I identify as white flour with extra cheese. There you go. All right. And Robert Shaw says oorah, 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 a bunch of times. All right, guys. I am ending the show. Thank you guys so much for super chatting me all night long. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Stop super chatting me, please, so I can end it. Karlyn, go enjoy a beer and relax.
Oh,
Thank you
I
for
will.
joining me. Thank you for dealing with the pressure that you obviously get when you're talking about this kind of stuff. I know that you've gotten it a lot. Oh, I said that wrong, Mr. Squiggles. That's fine. I say it how I want to say it. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys next time. Good night.